Dance with the chick, got the quick on the drug. Shower with the cuz, sitting comfy like I saw. Dance with the chick, got the quick on the drug. Shower with the cuz, sitting comfy like I saw. Dance with the chick, got the quick on the drug. Shower with the cuz, sitting comfy like I saw.
Lazy Electric Studios. This is Sports Radio 100.9 The Mitt. WLUN, Pinconning Bay City, Saginaw, Midland. Michigan sports aren't just a game. They're a way of life. And now we've got a show dedicated to die-hard sports fans like you. Hosted by a guy who's borderline obsessed with the wins and losses of all your favorite teams.
He's crazy.
Every weekday morning from 9 to noon, Ben Bosscher brings you the talk that matters. The teams, the stories, and the players you care about most. This is the Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair.
Remember that. Hello, and good morning, everybody. Welcome in to the Ben Bosscher Show. Holy cow, what a weekend we had.
Wow!
2 Tigers losses, a Team USA win, one of the crazier sporting events we've ever had yesterday with the UFC freedom fight. We had 2 different champions crowned as well, NBA, NHL, the Hurricanes, the Knicks. That is where we will start off. I got to give it to the New York Knicks. As much as I do not love giving this team its flowers, it certainly deserves flowers. I think this isn't necessarily one of the best rosters we've ever seen put together. I'd put a lot of the past champions from the last few years against this team, man for man, player for player. But in terms of chemistry, in terms of selflessness, in terms of everyone being on the same page, buying in for the greater good, I don't remember a italicized word team as good as this one in a long time. It's very reminiscent of the 2004 Pistons that didn't have this bona fide going to the Hall of Fame with certainty type of player. Now, they ended up getting some. I think Brunson will eventually get in, but there wasn't some superstar going into the finals where it's like, hey, look what we got here. We're going to be the favorites to win this thing. No, both teams were underdogs. Both teams were going up against more talented rosters. In the 2004 Pistons case, it was against Kobe and Shaq and the Lakers. And against this Knicks team, you're going up against young Kobe Bryant and Dylan Harper. You're going up against the phenom Wembanyama, where the narratives have turned on him. I thought the way that this finals played out was maybe one of the best 5-game series we have seen in quite some time in the NBA. So you always want to take some notes on the 2 teams that have made their way to the finals. If you're any other team, how did they do it? What was the blueprint? What type of players did they have? Well, in the case of the Spurs, they got really lucky in the draft lottery, not once, not twice, but 3 times. One of those times they happened to bring in a 7'6" alien. We all know the name, Victor Wembanyama. I know Brunson got it done. I know Brunson won the Finals MVP. Going into next season, there is one main character. Congratulations to the New York Knicks for starting Victor Wembanyama's villain arc. This guy is coming back with vengeance. So, in terms of the Pistons, they're not just replicating and spitting out another version of this guy. All right, then what about the Knicks? Let's take a look at how the Knicks got to the NBA Finals this year, okay? In the case of the Knicks, obviously they bring in Brunson on a discounted price after the Mavs just decide they did not want him anymore. All right, well, it's going to be hard to find your superstar that way, so maybe not replicable. But what else has happened is extremely replicable. Look at what the Knicks did for Mikal Bridges, who at the end of the day was their 4th best player in the finals, maybe even their 5th best player in the finals. Didn't have an incredible series, but you know how much fun we made of the Knicks when they moved 4 first-round picks for Mikal Bridges, a guy with 0 All-Star appearances, a glorified role player, if that. They traded 4 first-round picks for him. It was insane. It was one of the more insane trades we'd seen.
It's still insane.
Yet they won a title, Kyle. They won a title by overpaying for Mikal Bridges, who's one of those players that maybe will never be named an all-star, likely not, but could fit with any basketball team ever assembled. You could just throw him right in, multi-positional player, could space the floor, create a little bit of his own offense, play some defense, just does a little bit of everything. Let's look at what they did with OG Anunoby, who obviously had the game-sealing tip-in in Game 4, averaged 20 points per game through the course of the playoffs. This elite wing defender They gave him a 5-year, $212 million contract, max contract, after they traded R.J. Barrett and Emmanuel Quickley in a second-round pick for him. Young players. For a guy that Toronto was like, I don't really think we can take this any further. And then New York gave him that crazy 5-year max contract that I just mentioned. Checks notes, 0 All-Star appearances at the time he signed that contract. Still 0 All-Star appearances. And another one of those guys that maybe never averages enough points or rebounds or raw stats to ever be named an All-Star. So you gave him a 5-year contract? Yes. Why? Because OG Anunoby is one of those players that doesn't have to fit into any specific system. You know for a fact when you bring in OG Anunoby, if you put any sort of stars around him, he will be an ancillary piece to that offense. He will be one of the best supplemental supporting pieces that can exist in the NBA. That's why you overpay for him. And then in the case of Karl Anthony Towns, who again didn't have his best playoff series, but you took a distressed asset in Julius Randle and swapped it for a different distressed asset that you thought had a little bit more upside. Bam! 3 years later, after all these deals, you win an NBA championship. So if I'm the Pistons, I look at this. I look at the over-aggressiveness. You already have your star player in Cade Cunningham. Awesome. Now what? Now how do you put the supporting pieces around him? Now how do you bring in, find, and identify the Mikal Bridges and the OG Anunobys of the world to go overpay, not necessarily unproven guys, but guys that you don't necessarily think are going to be super duper stars? How do you find those guys and surround Cade Cunningham with those type of players who can fit into any sort of system, who can be awesome role players regardless of who the players around them are? That is where this offseason comes into place. Everyone wants Duren gone. Everyone wants Duren signed. You got to pick a side on that one. Here's the end of it. Like the bottom line, guys, I hate to break it to you. Jalen Duren is going to be back in a Pistons uniform this year. It would be shocking if Jalen Duren was a sign and trade candidate. I know some players, some people want him to be. I'm not even telling you I feel confident that the Pistons can win a title if Jalen Duren's on this team. But the way the NBA is set up as it is right now, you have to re-sign Duren, let him build his value up. Then when he's on big money, you can move him for a different big money type of player. In my mind, this is the Julius Randle cat trade. You bring back Randle, or in the Knicks case, you bring in Randle, you bring back Jalen Duren, you let these guys play for a little bit longer, give it one more go, and then when it eventually becomes clear that him and Asar can't play next to each other, you swap the asset with another distressed asset, and hopefully you win the coin toss. That's exactly what the Knicks did with Julius Randle and Karl Anthony Towns. That wasn't clear who won that trade until this Saturday. Julius Randle had been great for, I don't know, maybe not great, but Minnesota had their postseason success too. Let's not pretend like Jalen Duren's not a good player. He can help this team. It's just a matter of is it the right fit. But I look at the other ones, Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby. How do you find those guys? You overpay for guys that you know can be good fits on any single team. And that, to me, Kyle, is Trey Murphy. He's not some household name. He's not going to win all the headlines of this offseason the way that a Giannis trade would, the way that a Kawhi Leonard trade would. It's not going to be covered the way that those guys are going to be covered. But you know what? I can guarantee Trey Murphy, with his size, with his wingspan, with his rebounding, with his shooting, with his defense, with his ability to put the ball on the floor and attack a closeout, it's very reminiscent of both Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby's roles. They're more than just an average role guy. They're better than your Karis LeVert or Duncan Robinson, but they're not necessarily all-star type of players. They're all-star role guys, and the Pistons need to identify who that is, Trey Murphy, and go overpay for him. I don't care about the picks. You heard Josh Hart during the post-gamer, during the championship trophy celebration, the presentation. F them picks. The Pistons are now at a point where you have your young players, and all picks are resources to acquire other resources. I don't really think that the draft, other than maybe this 21st pick, if you want to hold on to that, but like, screw it. I think the draft, these picks are now assets. They are now ways to acquire other players. The picks themselves are more valuable for other teams than they are for the Pistons. So use them to go overpay for guys like Trey Murphy, who will come in and play well. There's no question about the fit. They play well with anybody. The same way that OG does. The same way that Mikal Bridges does. Go overpay for these guys. That, to me, is the number one lesson that the Pistons can take away from this year's NBA Finals. Because I'm sorry, you're not just printing out another Victor Wembanyama, so you got to take notes from the Spurs. Or, I'm sorry, from the Knicks.
Sure, and I do think that, obviously there is their differences, but the one thing that these two teams proved is that in the current modern day of the NBA, there just is no proper way to build a championship team. There is not a formula to do it. There are many different formulas, right? The Spurs and Knicks could not be polar opposites. Name a guy that the Knicks drafted that plays for this team. Like, that actually plays.
Mitchell Robinson, that's
it. Deuce McBride plays, but, like, Mitchell Robinson is the true, like, one impact guy on this team that they drafted. And he's like a rim-protecting big, solid, fine player for them. He's not a top 5 guy for them. Like, that's what's so interesting about the way that the Knicks built their team. And then you look at the Spurs, and essentially everyone outside of the guy who they wish they never traded for in De'Aaron Fox was drafted by them. And so it obviously the Spurs got a lot luckier than most teams did, so they were able to do it that way, and they just so happened to get Wembanyama, like you said. But also for the Knicks, like comparing the Brunson thing to like how the Pistons could do it, well, they're not doing that because no team does that. You don't just go get the Finals MVP for $20 million a year in free agency. Like that. It's one of the biggest anomalies ever in sports. Now they have Cade Cunningham, so it's not like they're searching for their superstar player. But the OG thing is the reason where you nailed this. Going and getting the guy who probably won't ever be an all-star, that probably won't ever be is Trey Murphy ever going to make an all-defensive team? Is he ever going to make an all-star game? No.
Probably
is
not.
OG Anunoby ever going to make an all-star game? I mean, after the stretch that he just had in these playoffs, maybe there'll be a little bit of bias going into next year because they want to get him in there, but you still paid the proper...
It would take extreme circumstances.
Of course. And at the time, too, when they traded for OG Anunoby, they traded away two guys that fit, like they made a pre-new CBA move. With the new CBA, it's something that you always talk about. Brad always talks about this as well. There's no point in having like negative asset guys on your team, even if you get them for a good deal. Just having guys that don't really provide value to your team in the current landscape of how the salary cap works in the NBA. There's just no point even having them on your team.
Basically, anyone who's not on a rookie deal where you still don't know exactly who they are. If you don't know who a player is and they're not on the rookie deal, I don't want them on my roster.
And can we maximize them to like their best talents? They had two guys in RJ Barrett and Emmanuel Quickley, who at the time we felt good about Quickley. I thought Quickley was going to be a really good player. Look at them now. Those are just two guys you don't want to have, really. Mm-hmm. They're not saying they're bad players. They certainly aren't. But for the price that you have to pay for those types of guys, you don't really want them. They traded both of them in, I think, 1 first to get OG Anunoby.
A second.
Yeah,
it wasn't
even a first. Wow, that's actually crazy. So, yeah, that's the part that the Pistons have to take from the Knicks here. It's not going and getting your Jalen Brunson. I don't even think it's going to get your Mikal Bridges. It's going to get your OG Anunoby. And it was a guy that at the time, what is the ceiling of OG Anunoby when they traded him? Did you think it was this? Did you think it was 20 points per game in the finals and tipping it in to win the Knicks the finals, essentially?
No, but I think
that's
overall...
the point, though. That's what I'm saying.
Correct.
Like, I'm looking for the answer to be no. Because right now, do we expect Trey Murphy, not saying Pistons fans, NBA fans, do you expect that guy to be one of the best 3-and-D role player, 20 points per game in the NBA finals type guy? Not right now, because the guy's never played playoff basketball. We don't even know. Mm-hmm. But OG Anunoby was a bench warmer on the Raptors team that won the finals in 2019.
He didn't play a single minute,
right, because
of an appendicitis thing.
Exactly. LeBron hit the floater over him in the year prior in the Cavs-Raptors series, really young OG time. So, like, it's identifying guys that you think have an untapped ceiling, and Murphy is 1,000% one of those guys.
And I think that, you're right. You want to find the guys where you haven't quite found their ceiling yet, but you're also looking for guys that you have a ceiling. You know what I mean? Like, you're not necessarily bringing in the Giannis's thinking, well, this guy could be an MVP. You're not searching for an MVP. You're not searching
Giannis doesn't have an untapped ceiling. We know Giannis's ceiling. It's best guy in the league.
Correct.
And he's not getting back to that.
Yes. You are looking for players who, I don't even want to say distressed assets, because that to me is like a Jalen Duren a year from now. It's one move at a
trading
time.
for Randall right now. That's what that is.
Correct. You're looking for a player to overpay for who can be a great fit with your team for 5 years. Doesn't matter what happens to the rest of the roster. This player's always going to be valuable. And that, to me, is the OG Anunoby types, which Trey Murphy fits into the exact description of. Long, wing, defender, tall, shoots the ball, plays defense, can attack a closeout too. It's not just that he can't. It's not just 3-and-D. There's a little off the dribble as well. But that's essentially what he is. He's a glorified premium level 3-and-D guy, which is what OG Anunoby was until this year's playoffs, where he became something else. I'm not exactly sure what it was.
He became maybe the best corner three-point shooter in the league. I mean, the guy, every time he shot a three from the corner, I was like, oh, this is money. And Murphy's a better shooter and a better scorer than OG. He's not nearly the defender that Anunoby is.
Still a good one.
Yeah, but I mean, OG is like an unworldly defender at this point. But what I was going to say is Trey Murphy, who was a guy that was drafted by Trajan Langdon. Right? It's not like we're being unrealistic here. He clearly likes him.
I say overpay, and I am talking about 3 first-round picks, 2 swaps, whatever it ends up being.
Ron Holland, potentially.
I mean, they're going to have to make the money work somehow. Ron Holland, 3 firsts, 2 more swaps. I'm fine with it. You have to be aggressive. You don't have to go be aggressive in terms of, we got to pair Cade up with Giannis. That's unreal. It's not unrealistic, but it's getting ahead of yourself a little bit. There's too much risk there. Risk management would tell you, I don't know if that's worth it.
And the Pistons still have a young core.
Correct. With Trey Murphy, what's the risk? There is no risk. You know that guy's going to be fantastic for you. There's no question about fit. It's not like when the Bucks traded for Dame, and it's like, well, I wonder what this is going to look like. No, this will work. So go ahead, cough up Ron Holland, Stu, 3 first-round picks. That's the type of player I want the Pistons to go sign this offseason. 989-837-6125. What type of move do the Pistons need to make in order to get where the Knicks were this year? At least to the finals. This is the Ben Bosscher Show, here live on 100.9 The Mid, 9 o'clock hour. Brought to you, as always, by Iron Stack Technology. They help businesses solve real tech problems securely, efficiently, and without the headache. When your IT is working the way it should, everything else gets easier. It's Iron Tech Technology, solution-driven, mission-focused. You can check them out online at ironstacktechnology.com. The show, as always, is brought to you by Bresky Siding and Building Repair, the experts who do the job right the first time. Whether you have a leaky roof, storm damage, siding looking tired, Bresky has you covered. Locally owned, trusted, and dedicated to keeping Midland area homes safe and looking sharp. Quality materials, skilled craftsmanship, and service that puts your family first. Don't wait for the next storm. Call Bresky Siding and Building Repair today. Keep your home strong for years to come.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9. Built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Myth.
All right, Kyle, so based on that conversation you and I just had about what type of player the Pistons need to go after and how aggressive they need to be in order of doing so, I'm going to name you a couple players. You just tell me yes or no for the Pistons, all right?
Sure.
That simple. Kawhi Leonard.
No.
Kyrie Irving.
No.
Trey Murphy.
Yeah.
Lauri Markkanen.
Yeah, but that's like that one is a yeah that we need to talk about. But you can finish the rest of your list.
There's only one more, Tyler Hero. You were kind of in on it, felt like last week.
I'm in on the idea of acquiring Hero, but it's like the only way I would do it is if they for some reason just get outbid on Murphy and Markkanen becomes unavailable, and it's like Hero's kind of the other guy that you could go get. So it's like I was at least setting myself up to not be mad for them getting Hero because it felt like it actually might happen. I guess that was the only reason.
Envision Tyler Hero playing in the finals that we just watched. I just can't do it.
Sure, that's fair. For the price he will be paid, yes.
So, Lauri Markkanen, to me, this is if Jalen Duren was a year from now. Lauri Markkanen's still on Utah, and they do this whole song and dance for another year of do we trade him, do we not? We're going to keep him. He's untouchable. And Jalen Duren has another year where he's averaging. He gets a lot better in the playoffs, let's say. Instead of averaging 10 points per game in the playoffs, look at that. He's a 16 and 9 player in the playoffs. In the regular season, he's 22 and 11. He's a good player. You know, it's not like he's a bad NBA player. And at the end of the day, he's still less than 24 years old. To me, this is like if this was a year from now and Duren was already on the big-time money and there was another year for him to prove himself after a bad playoff season, this is like the distressed asset. We're swapping Cat for Julius Randle. We're swapping Julius Randle for Cat. And we're kind of just taking someone who we know needs a change of scenery and swapping him with another guy who needs a change of scenery and hoping that it works out for us more so than it works out with the other team. And in the case of the Cat and Randall trade, I think that mostly worked out for both teams. You know, you have the Timberwolves going to back-to-back conference finals after they moved off of Cat and brought in Julius Randle, and the Knicks, you know, they were in the playoffs for a couple of years, and then obviously this year they finally got over the hump and won it, and Cat buried a lot of the narratives about him. I don't envision them doing that this year, this offseason with Jalen Duren, and I still have long-term worries that Jalen Duren and Asar Thompson simply will not be able to win a championship alongside each other because of the lack of spacing that it creates around Cade Cunningham. With that being said, though, I don't want to be in a rush to move off of him because here's what the NBA fans have to remember, and even the non-NBA fans, like I'm trying to help you out here, rushing off of him will mean you don't capitalize on the value of the asset. If you wait, let him build it up, let him continue to show he's an ascending player, let him be making the big-time money, and you also wait for another team to have the same sort of situation, that is when you cash in on Jalen Duren. I don't think they should be in a rush to get rid of him, even if there is long-term concerns that I share, that I think you share, but maybe not to as strong as a degree, that Duren and Asar won't be able to play next to each other. You can't just rush off of him, or else you will not maximize his value.
I mean, it is a pretty odd ideology to be like, we're only going to sign him so we could trade him a year from now when he's making $40-some million a year.
Well, the alternative is let him walk.
The alternative is you just pay him and don't plan on trading him, right? I mean, what's this whole like we're only paying him just so we can trade him next offseason? Why would anyone trade for him next offseason if he's terrible? Like if he doesn't live up to that contract, you know, you just don't get to trade that guy.
I think he can live up to the contract, though. If Asar Thompson didn't exist on this team, I don't think we'd be having these problems. But Asar Thompson does exist, and I feel like I'd rather just have Asar Thompson.
I think so too. He's going to be at a better price as well. For that obviously plays into this.
And if you could swap Duren for Lowry this offseason, like you sign him to the big time contract and swap the money, I don't know why Utah would do that right now.
Right.
But it's a no-brainer because Lowry to me is very similar to Cat, in which not a ton of playoff success so far in his career. A 7-footer who I don't want to say is labeled soft, but Cat was labeled soft, and I don't think Lowry and clearly Cat is not soft
Different
after
players
watching these
as well.
Different players, but like similar archetypes. In the fact that they're 7-footers who space the floor, and those guys just have proven to be pretty valuable in today's NBA. Between Chet, who I know self-combusted in the playoffs, Wemby, Karl Anthony Towns, like the 3 best teams in the league at the end of the year had a 7-footer who could stretch the floor. That seems pretty invaluable right now in terms of creating a lineup. That's why you go trade for Lowry Markkanen. But again, you said we have to have a conversation about what does that cost? What does that look like?
Yeah, the price for Markkanen is, if I'm Utah, how am I not asking for Asar Thompson? That's my whole thing.
Exactly.
Like, and we can sit here and be like, oh, well, no way the Pistons give up Asar Thompson. Okay, well, no way you're trading for Lowry Markkanen, right? Because the money is pretty ridiculous, so you have to get there. And obviously, Asar Thompson, he's due for a rookie extension, so you technically, I mean, the trading with him would get kind of awkward. But, like, Markkanen is an extremely valuable player. And it becomes interesting, specifically this morning, that you bring him up because Shams Charania is reporting this morning that Darren Peterson, who for at least since the lottery has gone down has been the projected 2nd overall pick, is not meeting with any team other than Washington. He's refusing to meet with Utah. And so he's basically saying, yeah, I'm going 1. He's doing the Alex Sarr thing
I don't like
in
this
reverse.
Guy, man. This guy really... There's something about him
which is
that's
crazy. Yeah, so
off-putting.
But obviously, like let's say this plays out that way, and Washington is just kind of, or he does go 1, whatever. DeBonsa goes 2 to Utah, which was what everybody's been clamoring for the last, 3 years since the guy was 15 years old. They've been trying to get him in Utah, and all of a sudden they have DeBonsa, Jaren Jackson, Ace Bailey. They have all these forwards with Lowry Markkanen still. So his availability becomes much more likely. And so that's the part about it that's going to make this pretty awkward. But yeah, if you want to pay the crazy super-duper price to go get a guy, it is Markkanen, not Giannis. I still think the Pistons just don't feel like the team that's going to do something that absurd because Asar feels like he has to be in it. And if he's not in it, you're trading basically everything else away, which you've talked about you're okay with, right?
I mean, there's nobody I'm clamoring to hang on to other than Cade, Asar, and then I just want to make sure the Duren asset is handled properly. They can't just. I don't think they're going to be in a rush to get rid of him at all anyway. So I guess it's not worth the conversation.
Yeah,
but everyone else, yeah, goodbye. Ron Holland, proven to be not very valuable to this team in the playoffs. Stu, same thing. Stu's like I'd be kind of surprised if Stu came back based on the way
still valuable as well. Will be wanted by other teams on a good contract, so that's probably why he does get traded.
Yeah, and I think the Paul Reed explosion in the playoffs has made it okay to trade Isaiah Stewart.
Especially with his price for next year too. It's like, how do you not utilize that to your advantage?
Yeah, so I my question to everyone out there is, what type of player do you want the Pistons to go sign? Is there a specific name or a specific archetype that you want? Because for me, it's a 3-and-D wing player like an OG Anunoby who can kind of excel in that role and be more than just a 3-and-D player. Let's check the messages, 989-837-6125. I got a text that said, Tyler here for the Pistons would be another perfect fit. A guy that can get a bucket off the dribble and can definitely shoot the 3. I don't disagree with either of those things. I have a hard time envisioning him getting baskets against either the Spurs or Knicks defense. Like playing in that finals, how tough it was to create your own shot for these guards, especially the scrawnier guards. There wasn't really any scrawny guards in this year's finals. Brunson's small, but he's certainly not scrawny.
Alvarado, that's about it.
Yeah.
Not a bucket getter.
I just have a hard, like, even Wemby, who's 7'6", had a hard time getting to his spots because of how physical it was. I don't think Tyler Hero's necessarily a player that can deal with the physicality to an extreme level because he's not that strong of a player, relatively. You know? That's why I'm a little hesitant to move in on Tyler Hero. I can't envision him playing against these top-tier playoff defenses.
I mean, I'll continuously say it. I think from an actual basketball standpoint, it makes complete sense. It's just everything involved with his new deal is the reasons why I'm hesitant about it.
Drew says, if I'm the Pistons, I'll give all my money to an OG two-way type of player that plays, doesn't complain, and will play on both sides of the ball.
Yeah. Well,
that's Trey Murphy, man.
You did say, like, there's no downside in trading for Trey Murphy, like giving up the big package, like it's just going to work. What if it is just the Mikal Bridges trade, though, and you don't? Like, if the Knicks didn't win this title and they just made the Bridges trade, we're laughing at them still.
Do they, even if they get to the finals?
Maybe not if they get to the finals, sure. But, like, the Bridges trade, like, I know they won the championship, so now everything has worked at this point. But, like, the Nets, like, got away with that trade, right? What if it's just that? What if he just is, like, a Mikal Bridges fine player, like, that ends up being your fourth best guy, and you traded 4 first-round picks for him? I don't think he will be, but you did say, like, oh, there's no downside to this. And I just thought, well, what if he just is Mikal Bridges?
Yeah, I mean, the downside would be they
Murphy's
don't make any other
deal.
moves, and they rely on Trey Murphy to get them over the hump.
Yes.
When I think there's probably 2 moves that they still need to make to get them over the hump, and
Totally.
Trey Murphy is half of that.
Yeah, and he's like could be the big one potentially. And the reason why he can't be Mikal Bridges is because Murphy's actually on a good deal, whereas the Knicks traded for Bridges and paid him like crazy.
Yeah. 989-837-6125. This is the Ben Bosscher Show. We're live here on 100.9 The Mitt. Like I told you, the show, as always, is brought to you by Bresky Siding and Building Repair. It's the Forward Corporation, though, that gives you the home field advantage. If your home or businesses use propane, the company with the advantage is Forward Energy. Since 1925, they've been serving our local community with propane fuel solutions for homes and businesses. Local people, reliable service. That is Forward Energy, part of the home team.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky. built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid.
All right, Kyle, take it away. Here is the news.
The Mitts Morning Catch.
All right, let's get back into the news. Hey, I got some breaking news. We're back in the studio.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. We spent the last couple days at the end of the week last week at the Dow Championship at the Midland Country Club here in Midland. It was a great time. And for the community calendar today, presented by Bresky Siding and Building Repair, let's see who won the Dow Championship. It was Yana Wilson and Gina Kim. They take home the duos Dow Championship, the team-up event. Pretty cool stuff. Yana Wilson, 19 years old, is a part of the duo that won this. Pretty insane. She just won the LPGA Tour as a professional this year and already picking up her first tour win.
You know, it's funny. We've got a lot of storylines even heading into next year now because we've got a 19-year-old who picks up a win. Nelly Korda, day 2, was unreal. Just
10 under.
Electrifying the crowd. 10 under, like you said. They end up kind of falling behind over the weekend and don't end up placing. But number 1 golfer in the world, a 19-year-old defending her title next season. Lexi Thompson always in the mix of things, too. They didn't make the cut this year, but I'm sure they'll be back with vengeance
next year. And the Korean duo who won 2 years ago, like last summer, almost stormed back and won the whole thing again, like out of nowhere. It was crazy.
The duos aspect of it, it's something else, man.
It is. We do have actual breaking news that we have to get to right now, and this is just some unbelievable news that developed over the weekend, and it has become official as of the commercial break we were just in. Michigan State Athletic Director Jay Batt has finalized a 6-year deal to become the next athletic director at Kentucky. That is from Pete Thamel of ESPN. He reported on it earlier this weekend. I think it was Friday, actually, that he said, yeah, Kentucky is pushing hard to go get Jay Batt. And after being with Michigan State for less than a year, he is leaving East Lansing. A lot of troubling things going on right now in East Lansing. There is currently an active lawsuit against the Board of Trustees from a member. Obviously, the president of Michigan State just left very recently for Clemson, took a pay cut to go there. And now Jay Batt, who at least you and I, had felt pretty confident in as far as trying to restore something in athletics at Michigan State. And clearly Kentucky feels the same way to go out and get him this quickly. This is extremely unfortunate news for Michigan State.
So, look, I knew we were going to do this as a topic at some point this week. I'm not quite ready to fully dive in and tell everyone my opinion on it. I am forming it as we speak. So I don't want to jump in and do a topic I'm not ready for, but I will just say this to the Michigan State Spartan fans out there. I feel for you right now. This is I thought rock bottom, you already hit it. You haven't. This just continues to get worse and worse and worse. Your president and your athletic director in the last month have both left. Both of them have left.
When they had no reason to, leading up to it at least.
The president took a pay cut to go to the ACC. He took a pay cut to become the Clemson president. The athletic director is leaving to go to Kentucky, a bottom barrel SEC team. But I guess being a bottom barrel SEC team in football is better than being a bottom barrel Big Ten team. And that's what Michigan State has become. I have no reason to actually feel any confidence in this athletic department moving forward and becoming sustainable and successful and a program that people want to partner up with and donate to if this is going to continue to happen. All of this turnover, what is going on? I want to dive more into that on a deeper note tomorrow.
We will do that. Do you want to do the UFC stuff now, or do you want to save that for the full news segment in the 11 o'clock hour?
Hey, man, you do the news. You tell me.
I'm asking you because I feel like we've got a lot to say about it, and we've already gone a little bit long here.
Oh, yeah, I guess you're asking me because it's 9:42.
Sure, yes, that is why I'm asking you, yes.
Let's save it for the second
one. We'll do some smaller stuff in the news, and then we'll save that stuff for later. Hey, the Tigers We have yet to talk about them. They lost both games against Cleveland this weekend. Game 3 got canceled, which is a good thing for the Tigers, right? Because they just would have lost yesterday against Cleveland because they just can't seem to beat this team.
Nor win on the road at all.
1-11 in their last 12 regular season games versus Cleveland. It has been absolutely atrocious. Tonight, they are back in action for another road series. They are in Houston. 8:10 first pitch. Troy Melton is on the mound against Kai Wai Tang. And Casey Mize, who was supposed to start yesterday, is getting pushed to Wednesday. This is actually kind of a smart move from the Tigers because Mize never got activated off of the injured list to pitch yesterday. They were going to wait until basically right before the game to do so. And so now they're just like, well, since we never made the move, we might as well keep the extra bat on the team because Hao-Yu Lee was reactivated. So he'll be on the team for at least the first 2 games with Casey Mize starting on Wednesday for Detroit.
Say the record in their last 11 games again.
1-11 in their last 12. 1-11.
That's comical. I heard you say it, and then I registered to me halfway through what you were saying. 1-11. They're 11-21 in their last 32 games versus Cleveland, dating back to the beginning of the 24 season. They just can't beat this team, and for that reason, I have no confidence in them to overtake this division or do anything throughout the course of this year. We'll get to the Tigers in the 10 o'clock hour, but they failed to meet our goal for them in order to buy back in. So we got to set a new goal, and until they achieve that goal, I'm going to work under the assumption that Tarek Skubal's gone.
With Skubal pitching, they couldn't even get it done either. And it's this mediocre Cleveland team, man. Mediocre team.
They're not good.
Which I will say sucks. They lose Jose Ramirez in this series as well. He's going to miss some time. Always been a big fan of Jose Ramirez. It's a difficult guy to hate, so that does stink for them. Let's do one more thing here in the news. This will segue into our next topic, and we'll save all the rest for later. Carolina. We had another team that was crowned a champion this weekend. It was yesterday. Carolina wins the Stanley Cup over the Vegas Golden Knights. And pretty cool stuff here. We've been talking about Michigan State, which has been not so good so far today. They get a little bit of good news because an alum of theirs, the head coach of the Hurricanes, Rod Brindamore, has won a title now as a player and a head coach with the Carolina Hurricanes. So that's really cool stuff, story for them as they are victorious in 6 yesterday.
Another team that has won a Stanley Cup in the midst of a playoff drought for the Red Wings, the longest active one in hockey. Got a really bad Red Wings stat for you when we come back. Actually, I got 3 bad Red Wings stats for you. This is the Ben Bosscher Show live in the Mid. Dow is proudly rooted here in Midland, making an impact all around the world. Innovations that create solutions for cleaner water, safer homes, and more sustainable futures. Company built on science, but driven by people, with thousands of employees who call this community home. Supporting local schools, events, and nonprofits because being a good neighbor matters. From the lab to the Little League field, Dow is invested in the places we live, work, and play. Dow solving with science and standing with community.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid.
I got a couple haunting Red Wing stats for you, Kyle.
How come?
Well,
you just want to make all of us sad, or
no? The Hurricanes won the title last night.
Oh,
and it's
that's
relevant.
right. That's right.
So the Hurricanes are the 8th team to win the Stanley Cup during the Red Wings' 10-year playoff drought, which is, again, the longest active playoff drought in all of hockey. 8 different teams have won the Stanley Cup. You get in, you have a year. It's not quite as bad as the NBA. What is it, 9-9 now? 9 years, there's been a different champion. Is that what it is?
It's
8.
It's 8 in 8 years that there's been 2 new teams that haven't gone back to back every year.
Yeah,
Pretty crazy.
So not quite as extreme in the NHL, but up there, for sure up there in terms of the parity aspect of it. Every year you squeak into the postseason, something magical could happen. Guess what? The Red Wings have not snuck into the postseason in 10 years. So that's the first one. 5 teams have won the Stanley Cup since Steve Yzerman was hired in 2019. 5 different teams have won it. And here's the most daunting one of them all. Since Steve Yzerman was hired, so not just the playoff drought, but specifically since Steve Yzerman was hired, every single team other than San Jose has made the playoffs over that stretch. So you could cut the playoff drought by 3 years, and you'd still have the longest playoff drought in hockey. You'd share it with San Jose.
Shout out Michael Misa.
Every single team has made the postseason since Steve Yzerman has taken over, other than the Wings and other than the Sharks. How much longer does the suffering have to happen for Chris Ilitch to finally recognize what is going on and how much of an embarrassment this Red Wings team has become? I'm not even just sitting here slamming my fist doing the angry guy radio bit right now. I'm genuinely asking the question, how long does this have to go on for before we remove the common denominator? Before we remove the GM who, just factually, I don't care what he took over at this point, 7 years in, going into year 8. At what point do we have to remove the GM in which every other GM in hockey has been more successful than him since he's shown up in Detroit? How long is it going to take? What is it going to take? Because I'm starting to think that Chris Ilitch is just going to allow Steve Yzerman and Scott Harris, for that matter, to remain employed for as long as they possibly want.
Yeah,
Congratulations. You have an unlimited tenure here. You can stay here as long as you want. Open doors.
The Yzerman gig is basically a lifetime deal at this point, right? Because like you said, what else has to happen? Do they have to be the worst team in hockey for something? Like, do they have to be historically bad? Maybe that's what it's going to take. I have no idea. Maybe it's their star player and captain asking out for a trade.
Nope,
oh, wait,
not going to be that.
Oh wait,
that's not going to keep. That's not going to kick Steve Yzerman out the door. That's only going to allow him to ruin this franchise more. Genuinely, I wonder how many owners across sports in general would put up with 7 years of not making the playoffs, and over that stretch, every other team in the entire league making the playoffs. What owner puts up with this?
In any sport, too. Like, it's not even just NFL or NBA or like all of them.
You're gone in 3 years in the NFL. You're gone
Aaron
way
Glenn
faster
is about
than
to
that.
get canned next year.
Correct. There is a short lifespan, a short window in the NFL. And I'd say in the NHL, you probably get the longest leeway.
Yeah, which is understandable. It's very difficult to turn around a rebuild quickly in the NHL. No doubt about that. But at like you said, it gets to a point where we have to stop saying that. We have to stop. Yeah, but look at what the card he was dealt. Oh, but look at what he started with.
It's almost a decade ago.
Well, he started from the bottom, and he's still there.
That could be a Drake lyric. Started from the bottom, and they're still there. They haven't moved all that far off from the bottom. Yeah, and the way they're set up right now, they'll never be the worst team in the league. So if that's what it's going to take, I guess Steve Yzerman truly does just have a lifetime contract. This is just inevitably going to be a team that flirts with the playoffs for the first 75% of the season, maybe 90% of the season, And then when push comes to shove, they're not good enough. They have no identity. They don't even have a first-round pick this year to start dealing it. It's mind-blowing what this Red Wings team has become. So congratulations to the Hurricanes. 8 teams have now won the title since the Red Wings playoff drought has begun. And 5 teams have won this title since Steve Yzerman has took over. And 30 teams have made the playoffs since Steve Yzerman has taken over, including 2 teams that didn't exist when Steve Yzerman started his job as the Red Wings. 989-837-6125, Detroit Tigers, when we come back.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding.
All right, let's talk about the Tigers. After they swept Tampa Bay, and then after they won that series against Seattle, in which Josh Naylor was acting absolutely ridiculous. Actually, I think it was just straight up after the Tampa series, after they got that sweep. Kyle and I set up a goal for this team as to when we were going to start believing them again. We said they had to win 6 of their next 9 games, including winning a series against Cleveland. Well, they only played 8 games, and they lost the last 2. And they lost the series to Cleveland. It was a nice stretch there, Kyle. I really started to think that they were going to be able to do it. I thought we were going to start Monday's show by saying, look at this. The Tigers are back. They're cooking again. And then they lost 2 straight to Cleveland, a team in which they cannot beat. You said 1-11 in their last 12. I told you 11 in 21 over the last 2.5 seasons, I suppose. And they also just can't win on the road. They have the worst road record in the entire league with just 11 wins on the road. So just like that, we're back to square one with this team. So the first thing we have to do is create a new goal for them. What is it going to take to get them to be back on our good side, for us to start believing that there's any sort of hope in what this season is going to become? For me, that new goal is winning every series the rest of this month. And until they do that, I'm working under the assumption that they're trading Tarek Skubal. You got to win every series the rest of the month. You play the 4th place Astros. You play the 1st place White Sox,
who just won a series against the Dodgers.
You play the New York Yankees without Judge. You play Houston again, and then you play the Yankees again without Aaron Judge. If they can win every single one of those series, you got me. I'll be hooked back in. But until then, I'm going to work under the impression that Tarek Skubal is going to be gone. Is that a fair assessment? Should it be harder? Should it be worse? Where are you at with them? Because that's kind of where I'm staying put right now.
Yeah, I mean, it has to be something extreme at this point. I said they had to do exactly what they did in May in reverse. You'd win 8 straight series. That's done now. It's over. They haven't done it. And so the people that are still making the argument of, well, yeah, but there's still only 6 games back in the wild card. There's also 7 teams above them in the wild card race that are in the hunt. Yeah, that's not even counting the teams that are already in a wild card spot.
Yeah, they could win 4 straight games and they might only still be 5 out.
Right. Like every team is involved in the wild card race because it's the middle of June. And so that's one of the more frustrating parts about all of this is there still is this false sense of hope of, oh, but look at the standings. Yeah, I'll look at the standings. They're 9.5 games back in a terrible division. Like that, when we thought that was the only route of them getting into the playoffs. And I just am not buying into the wild card stuff because of the amount of teams that are in between them. We just said the 4th place Astros, they're ahead of them in the wild card race. The Boston Red Sox, who are legit having one of the worst seasons they've had in years, and their fan base is just crashing out completely, especially now that the Knicks just won the NBA Finals.
Manager's already been fired a long time ago.
Did you see the clip of that one Boston fan that they interviewed in the street last week that went crazy viral? I mean, This guy was...
The Red Sox fan?
Yeah, he said it was the worst team he's ever seen in his life in any sport he's watched. Complete
maybe
classic
hyperbole?
Classic Boston guy. It was hilarious. It probably said the F word a million times in the clip. It was hilarious. And so you've got that team is also ahead of you in the wild card race. The hope of building this back, it just feels at an all-time low right now. And it came just 2 games after we were like, hey, the hope is back.
Because it was there.
Tarek Skubal is returning. Casey Mize is returning. Hell, Verlander might even be returning. Jack Flaherty, hey, this guy might be pitching good now. Nope, injured.
There was reason to be optimistic with the 3 series wins in a row and an opportunity to go beat Cleveland, a team that you seemingly cannot beat, and in a road series in which, hey, look at this. Maybe the Tigers can string together 4 straight series wins. Skubal's going to be back, and suddenly it could have been 7 games out of the wild card. If you swept, it could have been 6 games, or not the wild card, the division. If you swept, it could have been 6 games, and all of a sudden you feel like you have a little bit of life and you're continuing to build momentum. All of that out the window. You cannot lose a series to Cleveland the rest of the way. And you did. So for that reason, I'm going to be strict about the rules that we set up. We said a week and a half ago, or maybe it was a week ago, I guess I'm failing to recognize the exact date, this is what they had to do for us to buy back into them. I'm not just going to give them, the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, well, it got postponed. It was weird. Skubal was pitching, man.
They lost.
Skubal was pitching against a team that he dominates, and you lost. That's a game you just can't lose.
So here's what they have to do for me to be back. And no exceptions, no ifs, ands, and buts. It's black and white. Win every series the rest of the way. And once they inevitably fail that, we'll come up with some other dumb thing that they're not going to achieve.
No, then we'll say it's over.
Sure. Then we'll say it's over. Because, if you get to July and you're that many games out, I know. There's been some improbable comebacks and collapses over the last couple of years.
Yeah, but you also have
I'm working off the assumption Tarek Skubal will be gone, which I think is a fair assessment when you are what are 12, 13 games below 500 right now.
Exactly. We can do the whole, but look at what Cleveland did last year. Look at the fall that the Twins had 2 years ago when the Tigers came back. The Tigers are also having to have a humongous decision made in a month. So they don't have the luxury of the entire season to make this thing up. No, they legit have 1 month to figure this out and put yourself in any sort of position to convince the fan base that actually the smart thing to do is not the easy smart thing to do of trading Tarik Skubal, and not just him, trading Casey Mize, trading Gleyber Torres, trading all of these guys, because what's the point if you're not going to make the playoffs?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Unfortunately, this weekend with the loss to Cleveland in failing to reach that goal, it was almost an acceptance of Tarik Skubal's just not going to be on this team to end the season. Because if they would have won the series and had that the buyback in, the benchmark that we set, all of a sudden it would have been talking yourself into, well, Skubal and Mize, and they're both here and this and that. No, you had the chance to do that for me. I set the goal. I told every single fan as well, every listener we have, to set your own goal as to what it is. You can copy mine or take mine if you want. Free country. Grab it. And they couldn't do it. They couldn't even execute that. So until then, I'm operating under the assumption the best thing for this franchise, when they're inevitably under 500 at the trade deadline on August 3rd, they're going to have to move off of Skubal and hopefully kickstart a different era of the Detroit Tigers. That doesn't necessarily mean, hey, you're bottom barreling out, you're going to slide to the worst team in the league. It's hard to be worse than they are right now. It doesn't mean that this has to be a 10-year rebuild the way that it was when you traded Verlander. It doesn't mean that. You can go add some fantastic guys who can be playing in the bigs within the year or within the end of the season. That can be a route to kickstart something else. I just don't trust the guy in charge of doing it, Scott Harris. I don't trust him to finesse or swindle some other team. Honestly, Kyle, I don't even trust him to not be on the wrong end of a swindle or finesse. It seems like no matter what package the Tigers get back, it's going to feel like we didn't get enough for Tarik Skubal. And part of that's just because he's the back-to-back Cy Young winner. Of course, you're going to feel that way. But there's also a lot of other GMs and managers where it's like, holy cow, we got a haul for our fill-in-the-blank guy that we just traded. And we have not felt that once about Scott Harris, which is concerning to say the least, considering they're about to trade a back-to-back Cy Young winner who should have an extremely high value, even if he's a rental.
Yeah.
Even if he's just coming back from an injury.
And you're also always going to feel that way because, one, the talks of trading Tarik Skubal have gone on for 2-3 years now. You were always going to get more for him at last year's deadline. You were going to get more for him this offseason when all the weird stuff was going on with him. The longer you wait to trade, the less you're going to get. It's how all of this stuff works. And so that's why we're always going to feel, no matter what the trade package is, oh, man, really? That's what we got for Skubal? You didn't get something that's going to completely set up your future? So it's almost like not only are you setting up yourself to be like, Tarik Skubal's not going to be on this team, you're setting yourself up for disappointment in the trade as well.
But I think it's less to do with 2 years of Tarik Skubal and trade conversations and a natural disappointment as much as it is, I have a horrible gut feeling that Scott Harris is going to botch this.
Sure.
Because there's an
the history tells you that.
There's also a world where, there's been reports by national guys like Jeff Passan that, teams are calling about Tarik Skubal. Everyone wants Tarik Skubal. In the month and a half or 2 months, starting right now, leading up to the trade deadline, is just as important as the day of the actual trade because Scott Harris has the ability to manipulate the market, get teams and attempt to get teams to, start bidding for Tarik Skubal. What if we throw in this? What if this team throws in that? Okay, we'll match with this. And I just feel like Scott Harris, overvaluing his own guys, laughs at everybody else so much where it's just like, screw this, man. We're all collectively not giving you what you are asking for because that's what the history has told us with Scott Harris in terms of making trades. There are some packages out there that would be like, sweet, awesome, let's roll. It feels like we just got we inked the most out of what we could with Tarik Skubal in the deal. Unfortunately, I don't think that's the reality we live in with Scott Harris as the GM. It feels like more so, oh my God, I can't believe how much we left in the barrel.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot more of, but do you know who we're trading? It's Tarik Skubal. Come on. It's going to be a lot of that with the other teams, which at the end of the day, it's still better if things go the way they are and this team is still in this type of situation a month from now, anything is better than, but we could still go on a run in the second half with Tarik Skubal, so at least there's that caveat that's helping Scott Harris, but you're right. And the history shows us that we should not feel confident that we are set up for success with the return of Tarek Skubal trade.
989-837-6125. Have you accepted the departure of Tarek Skubal? And what are you looking for in return for the back-to-back Cy Young? I will tell you about a couple of prospects that you should have your eyes on when we come back. It's the Ben Bosscher Show live here on 100.9 The Mitt. Your dream lawn, yes, Siervinsky sod can quite literally roll that out. Top quality sod that turns patchy yards into backyard showstoppers. Plus, they've been doing it for over 50 years, which means they're experts. Whether you're fixing a rough spot or redoing your whole yard, Siervinsky delivers lush green perfection. Fast, friendly, and farm fresh because your grass should be greener right now. Don't settle for a bland yard. Increase the value of your home and get the lawn your neighbors will envy with Siervinsky sod. The 10 o'clock hour, as always, is brought to you by Air Insurance. Air Insurance, they're all about putting you in the better position. Whether it's your home, auto, life, or business coverage, they make sure to get your protection that actually fits your life. If you're looking for a team that takes the guesswork out of insurance, this is it. Be sure to go follow Air Insurance on social media to stay connected and see how they're helping people every day.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair. Repair on 100.9 The Mid.
Have you accepted Tarek Skubal being on the move come the trade deadline? Mid message from Michael says, maximize the trade. There is no other choice if they're not going to re-sign him. This is the I struggle to understand where Tigers fans are right now with this, because on one hand, Tigers fans are like, oh, yeah, I think it is time to trade. Just because you trade him doesn't mean you won the trade. Doesn't mean you cashed in on good prospects. There is certainly a world where they trade Tarek Skubal, and it's very similar to what happened with Justin Verlander. Oh, look at this. Whole bunch of nothing back in return. Just got rid of the best player on your team for absolutely nothing. There's also a world where you trade them and boom, just like that, you got some awesome prospects coming back to you. I think you and I have a kind of a unique perspective on a good amount of them. The team favored to get Tarek Skubal, the team that's more likely to have Tarek Skubal on their team than the Tigers by the end of the season, the Dodgers, whose top prospects happen to play in our backyard. That's the fun part about our job.
Yeah.
They've got 4 outfield prospects that are atop the prospect pool for the Los Angeles Dodgers. Josue DePaula is their number 1 guy. We got to watch him almost all of last season, in the year prior a little bit. Zaire Hope, same thing. Mike Sirota spent most of this season with the Loons and then got called up a couple weeks back. And Eduardo Quintero currently on the team. We've seen these guys come through. And I'll say this, if they were to get Josue DePaula, the Tigers' number 1 prospect, I don't even care what else they get in return. That guy is good enough to the naked eye. He's the best player I've ever seen in that box. He's the scariest hitter I think I've seen in this league. That includes guys like McGonigal. That includes guys like Max Clark. That includes some of the top prospects. I've been here 4 seasons now, and I don't think I've ever seen a player as horrifying in the box as Josue DePaula. Now, some of the other stuff in the outfield, base running, there's some question marks there. But in terms of just, hey, bat to ball, hit the baseball, there's a reason this guy's the number 1 player in their farm system when it's one of the best farm systems that exists. Unfortunately, because they have so many other great outfielders, I don't think the Tigers are in a position to where, A, Josue DePaula is available, or B, Scott Harris would even have the ability to acquire a player like that because of his lack of negotiation skills that are well documented from local and national beat reporters.
Yeah, both of those things don't really play into the Tigers' hands. Even when you brought up earlier the Jeff Passan article that he dropped a couple weeks ago at this point discussing, what are some of the big Tarek Skubal trade packages that could be put together. He even said in the article, Josue DePaula would not be in a Tarek Skubal trade because he wouldn't be in any trade. Because why would you trade that guy, especially when the Dodgers have the option to be like, hey, I know we have this awesome outfielder at the top of our prospect list. We also have 3 other really awesome ones too that you'd rather trade because DePaula, obviously, I mean, for everything that you just said, seems like he's going to be a super duper star in the NFL, in the MLB someday. So, yeah, he will not be getting moved. I would be absolutely now. Even if Scott Harris was like this Swindlehurst type of GM, which he's the opposite of, I still don't think he'd be able to pull that off.
Even if he was Howie Roseman,
sure,
he wouldn't be able to pull this one off. So then you start looking at the other guys. Zaire Hope, who's kind of been in step with DePaula for a while now. They got called up together last year. They were both in the Rising Stars game from last year. Hope, I struggle to have a major league comparison for Hope because with Zaire Hope, he is this freak athlete. He probably stands at 5'11", but is about one of the most yoked human beings you'll ever see. Looks like one of those guys that could show up to the gym and just throw 3 plates on the barbell and do whatever workout he wanted. Just is like a completely juiced human being. Yoked in every way. I don't really, and fluid outfielder as well. I don't really know any outfielders in Major League Baseball that fit that archetype. And it makes me wonder what that looks like in the long term of things. I don't know. I'm not saying I am out on Zaire Hope by any stretch of the imagination. I like this kid. He's also a nice guy. From someone who's had some interactions with him, I'm sure you have the exact same experience. Good person. I believe in him. I just don't know if I know what the major league comparison is for one of the more absolutely yoked outfielders that we have in baseball, a little bit undersized from a height standpoint, but makes up for it with the muscle. I don't know what that means once he gets to the majors.
Right. Yeah, got a little bit more pop to his game than DePaula does. He's got a little bit more homers than him this year. They're both 60-grade power hitters, at least on MLB Pipeline's website. But he's having another great season. DePaula is definitely the more all-around better hitter just because of his plate discipline, his ability to get on base, and all that stuff. But yeah, I mean, and Hope was another guy that was acquired via trade from the Dodgers. They, recognized him pretty early. So same age as well. Like these guys they've come up together. They were here at Great Lakes all year last year. They went up together at the same time as well. They've been in Tulsa all year together. So it's a very similar situation to when you saw Max Clark and Kevin McGonigal, where, yeah, it feels like there is one guy that is the alpha over the other one just from a production standpoint. But they've been a duo here for a while in the minor leagues. So, I mean, I would love Zaire as well.
And then there's Mike Sirota, who is one of the best minor league players at any level this season, the way that he's been able to play. He's hitting .330 across both high A and low A with a 1056 OPS, has this incredible on-base streak that's ongoing right now. I think it's like above 50 games at this point. He is an absolute monster of a player, but a little bit older, not as raw as a prospect, was a college guy. I think this is a productive Major League Baseball player. I don't know if the star power is necessarily there with him, though.
I would say to me, he feels like the best. He is the best defender of all of the Dodgers outfielders as well.
More than Quintero?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, Sirota was the center fielder when both of them were here.
True.
Quintero was a corner outfielder. And so with the Tigers' specific situation, you have their core of outfielders right now. We hope that Max Clark can be a good defender out in center field, right? Like, that is the hope.
Yeah,
And
I guess it is just a hope.
Hope is
at
kind
this
of the
point.
funny word because Zaire Hope is one of the guys here. But like with their current situation, they just brought in a guy off the street to play center field in James Outman because of how bad the current defensive outfield is for Detroit with no Parker Meadows. And so if Max Clark doesn't live up to be this premier defender out in center field that the Tigers need desperately to have because their defense is so terrible out there, Sirota would be the perfect guy to have for that spot. So if they prioritize that by any means, you'd pick that. Also, like you said, he's just been the best guy in the minors. As far as like production-wise, he's been the best player. As far as who has the best ceiling, he's a little bit older, of course. All of that plays into this. He's spent a little bit more time in the minor leagues, so all of that stuff plays into it. But, yeah, he's an exquisite player.
2 notes on what you just said. I know you're doing your due diligence and just explaining who Mike Sirota is as a prospect so our listeners can get a little bit more familiar with him if he ends up being on the Tigers. But I also don't think the Tigers should be prioritizing, well, this is the best fit for us for the territory. They should be going for the best player available.
Sure.
And I certainly don't think they should be thinking, well, this guy's a better defender, so we think this is actually a huge plus out. I know it's a weakness right now, but I don't think that should be what they're targeting in any sort of Tarek Skubal trade, even if it's with the Dodgers system. You got to go find the best players available and figure the position stuff out later.
But isn't that the whole point that we're talking about here? Like, you have DePaula, who's in his own tier that we don't think is getting traded, and then there's the 3 of them. And I kind of don't really know which one I would prioritize in a trade, right?
Correct. Yeah. Yeah, that was my other point with Sirota. It's like the numbers just speak for themselves. I think the eye test wise, Sirota doesn't live up to Hope and DePaula just from like watching from the stands.
Really? You don't think so? I think he has like crazy flashiness to him.
I think the numbers speak for themselves. It's great contact hitting. He also has power, has 10 home runs this year, but like
he's got the speed over those guys. I think he's like flashier than any of them.
Really?
Yeah.
Flashier than DePaula? Or are we putting him just separate?
No, we're not counting him.
Okay. I think the ability of Hope to just delete baseballs excites me a little bit more. And I also just don't know what he like. I feel like I would know what Sirota is. Maybe he is like your Parker Meadows in the big leagues. But what is Hope? I think there's like some untapped potential there as to what this can become. So of those 4 top prospects that the Dodgers have, and again, it's just most likely that Skubal's going to end up on the Dodgers if he's going to get moved.
They have the best package, and it makes sense for them to re-sign him, yeah.
Is it possible to get 2 of these top 4 outfield prospects? Because Tigers can need as much help in the outfield as they can get, with the exception of Riley Green.
I just don't think so because it's another thing that Pizza Man is throwing in our YouTube chat. He says, if all we get is prospects, we lost the trade. And I don't necessarily agree with that, but I think the sense is that in a Tarek Skubal trade, and this is all just from what has been reported, it's not like the Tigers have said anything about this, is that a big league or close to big league arm is going to be involved in the deal, right? Mm-hmm. You want to do somewhat of a, okay, we're losing a starting pitcher here. Can we get a guy? The Dodgers have a couple guys that fit that, whereas like an Emmett Sheehan's been there for a couple years. River Ryan is an old AAA guy that has really only not gotten an opportunity because the Dodgers signed Blake Snell and all these other random guys every offseason to block out the minor league guys. So if a big league arm is involved in this, I don't think you're getting two of the outfielders, sadly. I'm with you. Like, I totally think you should be shooting to get two of them. But I don't think it's going to be that high of a price.
I would take a lesser, like, ready-to-go arm right now for more of these offensive prospects with what they have. And also with what they have coming back with Jackson Jobe, with what they have in Melton and Montero and some of these young guys that still have a lot of years left. Obviously, you want an arm back in return.
The future of their pitchers, though, is like...
Correct.
It's very up in the air.
It is one thing Scott Harris... You can give him credit for developing talent. There's no arms in the prospect pool right now in the farm system that are like worth keeping an eye on at all. He has completely failed to develop any sort of arm in the farm system that has caught anybody's eye. So yes, you're right. They need to get an arm back at some point, but I would rather that be an ancillary piece than and then it be vice versa of like, this is the main person that we're getting back. Because if you're prioritizing, well, the main thing we want back is a ready-to-go arm for the bigs, you're going to be disappointed because he's not going to be Tarek Skubal. So I'd rather have the prospects be the main pieces and then the arm you get in return be a secondary piece where it's like, hopefully this person ends up being a good player. And if they are, that's great. I'd rather the prospects, the bats be the main piece of a Tarek Skubal trade, as backwards as that may sound, when you're trading away a superstar pitcher.
That was always the debate about trading Tarek Skubal in the first place, even like 2 years ago, right? It was, well, this guy does, at the end of the day, how great he is, just play one every 5 days, where you could trade him for guys that really could play every day for this team in the future and be big-time impact players. That was always the argument for trading Tarek Skubal, and now it exists again.
989-837-6125. Have you accepted the idea that Tarek Skubal is going to be on a different team by the end of this season? We'll get back to that a little bit later on. I want to take a trip around the league when we come back. Mid-Michigan, do your eyes feel itchy, dry, or irritated all day? That is not normal. And Mid-Modern Eye Care and Dry Eye Clinic specializes in dry eye treatment that actually works. If your eyes burn, water, or feel tired from screens, they can help you get real lasting relief. From advanced dry eye care to exams, glasses, contacts, they've got you covered. Stop dealing with discomfort and start seeing comfortable again. See better, feel better with Mid-Modern Eye Care and Dry Eye Clinic next to Kroger in Midland.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repairs.
Shower with the cuz, then cut like a saw. Hands with the dick, got the quick on the draw. Shower with the cuz, then cut like a saw. Hands with the dick, got the quick on the draw. Shower with the cuz, then cut like a saw. Hands with the dick, got the quick on the draw. Shower with the cuz, then cut like a saw. Hands with the dick, got the quick on the draw. Shower with the cuz, then cut like a saw.
989-837-6125. Haven't worked any football in today. Let's do that. Here's a trip around the league.
It's time to zoom out and go around the league.
Kyle, I hope you have not looked at this article that I've linked into our rundown.
I have not.
I want to test you and your
Great.
ball knowledge here on June 15th.
Oh, yeah, that's great.
This is an article from The Athletic, and I feel like we've done a version of this before. This is by Ted Nugent. Nugayan.
Ted Nugent?
No, Nugayan. I like glance. I said it out loud. I was like, wait a minute. That can't be right. I looked a little hard. I was
Cat
like, yeah,
scratch
that was
fever?
Ted Nugayan. Your 10 most versatile players going into this year's NFL season. So let's see how many of the most versatile players in the NFL you can name.
Oh, so I need to guess another guy's opinion. Got it.
Yep.
That's really testing my ball.
A lot of
knowledge
these are
here.
like guys you'd kind of expect to be in this group, though.
Most versatile players?
Yes.
Okay, I'm at least going to pull up the teams here just so I make sure I'm not forgetting anybody. Okay, so I mean, the most versatile guy, I mean, like Kyle Hamilton's probably on here, right?
Bam. You're 1 for 1. Why are you so nervous, man?
Because
You
I
just nailed it.
It's just kind of it's a tough list.
Yeah, you nailed it. He plays safety. He plays nickel. He plays linebacker, an extended form of the linebacker room. He's almost invented a new position defensively in a lot of ways. It's a position that Brian Branch has embraced in some way, not to the extreme that Kyle Hamilton is. And there's another player that has started to kind of play this hybrid queen on a chessboard, line him up wherever you want role as well, who has the same archetype as Kyle Hamilton.
Okay. I'm assuming most of these guys are defensive players, right?
A good
Just
amount
because
of them.
it feels like offensively, how much of a chess piece versatile guy can you be? In his peak, Deebo Samuel would be on this list.
Yeah.
Just because of how his ability to do both. Like McCaffrey might still. Is he on here? McCaffrey?
There you go, man. You're
Okay,
2
I
for
was going
2.
to say, like, he still is pretty versatile. Lines up in the slot all the time.
Christian McCaffrey is probably one of the most versatile offensive players we've ever seen in the NFL.
Sure.
With his ability to, I mean, he could be a slot receiver if he really wanted to be.
And he still plays there a lot of the times for San Francisco. So
And most running backs who rack up the receiving yards, the way that like we think a Gibbs can this year, the way that Bijan, they're weapons out of the slot simply because they're fifth option. Once they get the ball, they're great. Christian McCaffrey could legitimately be a slot receiver. None of these other guys have the ability to do that. McCaffrey, I think he probably could.
is he the only running back on the list?
He's the only running back on the list.
Okay, because Bijan is like kind of entering that territory, but I figured there wasn't any more than him. I'm assuming there's going to be a lot of guys that fit that like safety type of role, just because it feels like the most versatile position in general.
You got a couple more in that.
Branch is not on here probably because of injury, I would assume.
Correct.
Right? Yeah. You said there's another guy that's starting to fill the role of a Kyle Hamilton.
There's a
few
couple
names
different
come into
guys that are
mind.
listed in that group as well, but one that's like, oh, this guy is Kyle Hamilton reincarnated.
In my brain, that's Eamon Warry, right?
Yep, you nailed it.
Okay, yes.
For Seattle,
Yes.
came in as a rookie this year, was monumental part of their defense as a rookie
Huge.
that helped them go
Just
to the
a
Super Bowl.
humongous guy. Scary looking defensively. He's got the single number, which always helps.
Yeah, just comes in and lays the boom on
Yeah.
basically everybody. Not an interceptions guy, but a guy who will come lay the hammer down on
Yeah.
you, even in the run game.
I'm going to take a cheat from our boy Sauce Boss in the YouTube chat here. Travis Hunter.
There you go. There was no way you were not going to get Travis Hunter, though. Like, shout out to Sauce Boss, but...
I would have forgot.
No,
I forgot he existed. It
would have came to you eventually.
That's how irrelevant he was last year.
Hey, last game he had 117 yards.
What's he going to do this year, though? Like, for real prediction. Take your bias out of it. Like,
I think he's going to be a full-time DB.
That's kind of what I think so, too.
They've already announced it.
Which is, yeah, but, like, they did this all year last year. They did the back-and-forth stuff, so...
I just want to say the week before he got hurt, 100 yards and a touchdown.
That was in England. That doesn't count.
It does count. You can't just ignore that.
That doesn't count. Okay.
But yes.
How many guys do I got? I got like half the list here.
You only have 4.
Is there any quarterbacks on here?
Nah.
Okay. Didn't think so.
I don't know what a quarterback would have to do to qualify to be on this list.
Run and pass. Like Lamar, I guess. Josh Allen. Yeah, I have no idea. Tight end feels like a versatile position to me, but I don't really know who the tight end could be.
You got one. There's one.
I mean, it feels like George Kittle, right?
It's not George Kittle.
Just because of his elite blocking ability, I figured it would have been him.
There's also another guy who I think it should be, but it's not.
Who is it?
There's only one tight end.
Then.
The guy who it should be?
Yeah.
Tyler Warren.
Oh, yeah.
How could
100%.
it not be Tyler? They hand the ball off to him. He's thrown some passes already as a rookie. I don't get how he wouldn't be in the. They line him up as the fullback all the time. There's a different tight end, though, that's listed here.
Okay, is it the guy that Sauce Boss helped me again? But this guy is, I think, retired from the NFL. Taysom Hill. He's out of the league, right?
I believe so. Or he's just signed.
Not on a team. It's not him, though.
No,
because Taysom Hill might be the most versatile player in NFL history, like legitimately.
Yeah, he
in modern NFL history.
He probably is,
but he's just not an elite player, which makes it so funny.
At anything,
exactly. You can give me the tight end. I don't think I'm going to get it.
This guy in Tyler Warren's draft class, Colston
Loveland.
Yeah,
just because he lines up as a receiver sometimes.
Yeah, he's pretty nasty in that spot. But I still think if it was going to be
way more versatile, yeah,
correct. I think it'd be Warren.
Okay.
Do you think Loveland ends up being the Bears' number one weapon? Maybe not in terms of like total receiving yards by the end of the season, but in terms of just like, oh yeah, this is their best guy.
There's a lot of burden hype. But at the end of the day, Loveland was taken 10th overall, I think, when it didn't really feel like that was the spot. It was Ben Johnson's first draft pick with the Bears. Obviously, I mean, he isn't doing the drafting, but he obviously has a large pull in that. Yeah, it wouldn't shock me. Odunze had kind of a weirder end of the season last year where you don't feel extremely confident it's going to be him. So I'm happy I own Colston Loveland in one of my dynasty leagues. That's for sure. Okay,
let's keep it rolling.
How many more offensive guys are on here? It can't be that many. I'm assuming it's all defensive guys.
No, there's one more offensive player. It's a receiver.
This guy just popped in my head just because he is a guy that in his past has been thrown around a lot, but also doesn't play every play defensively. Is Micah Parsons on here?
Ooh, no, but also might just not be on it because of an injury.
Right. And like last year was a weird
another
year.
Player
he just didn't play a ton last year, even like just a snap-to-snap basis.
Yeah, because he was
wasn't
coming back from the injury and then he left. There is another player who kind of plays that. You look at his sack total and you're like, he's an edge, but then he mostly just plays linebacker, that Sam linebacker role. There's one more player on that list.
I mean, I think of Van Ginkel. Is it him?
It's probably
not
Ginkel.
Him. Yeah,
but he's another guy who could qualify.
Yeah. TJ Watt?
Nope.
Give me the linebacker one then.
Devin Lloyd.
Yeah,
who's now playing for the Panthers.
That. Yeah, he was on Jacksonville last year, right?
Yes.
Yeah, he was atop the sack
start
list really early on last year, yeah.
And he had all the interceptions early on last year, too. And by all, I mean like 2.
He had a
pick
slight depoy hype for like 2 weeks, yeah. Okay, I've got one more offensive player, and how many just in general? We got 90 seconds left on the sounder, so I'll try to get it in by then.
A couple more of those safety hybrid guys.
Safety hybrid guys.
Or one more of those safety hybrid guys, and then one. No, a couple more of them.
Can you at least give me a position on the offensive player?
Receiver.
Okay, so I got to think of guys who sometimes get like the jet sweeps and get some version of running the football, creative ways to get them the ball.
Don't overthink it.
Is it just Puka?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because they do just sometimes if they're not targeting him, he's just the jet sweep guy. So that makes sense. I was going to say JSN, and then I switched it up to Puka. You might as well just give me the defensive guys because I don't really have any more good guesses.
Derwin James, another one of those hybrid safety guys.
Yeah, I guess I kind of forget about him a little bit.
Josh Metellus for the Vikings, the safety, who comes in and does some of that
Would have never
stuff.
got that.
And Cooper DeJean.
That's
for the
probably
Eagles.
that's probably one I should have gotten, yeah.
Who is less of like the box safety who comes in and lays the boom and more of just like that twitchy hybrid. I mean, he comes in and plays the nickel, but in a different way that Hamilton and Emanware do. He's a little bit more twitchier.
I would say Hamilton's got to be the most versatile guy on this list, though.
Oh, yeah, he's the most versatile guy in the league.
Yeah.
Unless you want to say McCaffrey,
which
because he excels at the two things that he does.
No, Noah must be coming in late. Where's Emanware?
No, Emanware was one of the first guys.
Yeah, we got him, dude. Don't worry.
We got him. 989-837-6125. Kyle and his off-season predictions when we come back. This is the Ben Bosscher Show live here on 100.9 The Mids. Tee up at Sandy Ridge Golf Course, Midland's hidden gem where every round feels like a little bit of a getaway. Now featuring a brand new clubhouse, part lounge, part hangout, all class. Perfect for cooling down or talking smack after 18. Smooth greens, scenic fairways, and enough birdies to make your buddies jealous. Whether you're a weekend warrior or just there for the vibes, Sandy Ridge brings the game and the chill. Book your tee time, plan your outing, or just stop by and pretend you know how to read a green. Sandy Ridge Golf Course, the hidden gem that's way too good to stay a secret.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky's.
Kyle was so kind this weekend to send me and a couple other individuals all of his predictions for the NBA offseason. And then when he got in and looked at the rundown that I'd filled out today, I put in Kyle's NBA offseason prediction. He's like, what does this mean? Was it? Dude, these are your predictions. These are the ones that you sent us.
Yeah, it's just
like, let's make a segment out of this. It was creative. It was fun. I liked it.
Well, you see, obviously, for us NBA fan sickos out there, which I would classify you and I as that, I would say our employer, Brad Tunney, fits into that mix as well. And anyone who is an NBA fan, the second the finals is over, all you think about is like, okay, what moves are happening? I'm thinking about that during the finals as well. And it's more than just about the Pistons. Like, as an NBA fan, it's just about the league in general. So I was on a walk yesterday, and I was like, I got thoughts,
dude,
of just what I think is going to happen.
Going on walks and just coming up with thoughts, there's not a whole lot of better feelings.
Because I was listening to podcasts, and I'm hearing people giving their predictions. I'm like, I don't agree. I think this is going to happen. And I kind of just started rambling them off. So we'll start with this, because this involves a guy that played in the state of Michigan this past year. Ademara's been like the guy, right? That it feels like he is the guy that's going to go towards the back half of the top 10, maybe late lottery. That with the ascension of Victor Wembanyama, Chet Holmgren, these super duper tall dudes, you're just going to want these guys on your team. So I think that teams are going to want to trade up to get this guy. I think the Charlotte Hornets are the team. So my first prediction is that the Charlotte Hornets, a team that we despise, right, based off of what happened this year, almost played against them in the first round of the playoffs.
Despised them, but now, like, since they didn't even make the playoffs, it's almost, and we swept them. It's almost
true. Like they're kind of like Lil Bro. Yeah, exactly.
If that.
Yeah, not even Lil Bro, actually. Yeah, good point. I think they are the team that's going to get aggressive and trade up for him. They currently have the 14th and the 18th pick in the draft, so they already have a back half of the lottery pick and a middle of the first round pick. Use both of those plus a future swap or something. You move up to pick 8 or whatever. They get Ademara.
And then Musa together would be pretty scary defensively in terms of trying to score anywhere near the paint.
Yes, because they've been the team that has been tagged.
The Michigan guys.
They would be the Michigan
to the Michigan
guys.
front court.
Of course they would be. They've been the team that's tagged for Domantas Sabonis, and I just don't think that's the play. I think they need a defensive
oriented?
Yes, center. So that's my first prediction. And I don't like it. Like, I don't want that to happen. No. But as a Pistons fan,
Ademara, like, right in the Western Conference title
I guess
scene.
I don't want him. I don't want him on the Thunder, though. I really don't want him on the Thunder.
That'd be great. I would love to see him and Chet battle.
God, it'd be stupid
awesome
if he went to the Thunder, man. Okay, my next prediction, and this was kind of at least validated by Brian Windhorst this morning. Giannis is still going to Miami.
When have we wavered from? What do you mean still?
Giannis is going to Boston buzz that has happened in the last 3 or 4 days, essentially all given out by Bill Simmons, is the biggest propaganda push of ever. They're not getting Giannis. Giannis is going to the Heat. I don't think they want Giannis. I don't love all this stuff that's coming out with Boston and that. So I am still going to stand on foot. Giannis is going to Miami.
Yeah, and I'm going to still stand on my foot that the last time Tatum and Brown were together, they won a championship when they were healthy. So I'm pretty sure Boston's just going to run it back with those two guys. I have no reason to think they're going to move off of them.
And on top of it, I think the Pistons are staying out of the Giannis deal. I've actually decided that. I just don't think they're going to get involved.
As the third team, right?
Yes, correct. Because that was the whole reason we did the Tyler Hero segment, because why would Milwaukee want Tyler Hero? They could reroute him to a third team. In theory, the Pistons make sense for that. I just don't think their first move of the offseason is going to be that big of one, right? It's probably going to be Jalen Duren's contract being figured out is probably the first move of the offseason. So I think they stay out of the Giannis deal entirely. That's really the only Pistons thing that I had on here. This is a fun one. I think that Kevin Durant, if traded, is going to Minnesota. I think the KD to Minnesota stuff is going to happen. It's either going to happen or we're going to get crazy buzz about it. This happened before he got traded to Houston last year. They felt like the other team. How can Kevin Durant return to Houston after the way that things ended for them this past season? It feels like they just have to move off of him, even though he was their best player all year, like no doubt about it. So, and then was out for the playoffs. KD, Anthony Edwards, those guys. I mean, Anthony Edwards talks all the time how much he loves Kevin Durant. It really makes sense from a basketball standpoint, too, to replace Randle with Kevin Durant. I don't know what Houston does. They don't want Julius Randle on their team, so I don't know how this benefits them. But KD to Minnesota, I just am in love. I'm in love with it.
It'd be his third team since COVID. I'm trying to think of another player like this where it's like I don't even know if he ever really had a home.
He's such a great, like such an all-time great.
Like it's not Barkley, right?
Well, he's had a home. I mean, OKC was. I still think of OKC, but at Golden State, he won 2 titles in. Chris Paul is another guy kind of similar to that, end of his career, just hopping around. But Durant's still an All NBA caliber player though. Like Chris Paul was coming off the bench last year. So the last one that I have a couple more, but we'll end it with this one. I just think this one's kind of funny. I think the Brooklyn Nets are going to get so impatient again based off of the Knicks winning the title. Like this whole really little brother push.
What does that mean for them though? Like what moves are there to be had?
They're going to trade for a fake star. And it's gonna be Ja Morant. It's gonna be Domantas Sabonis. Hell, if the Spurs really decide we need to get off of De'Aaron Fox, they're gonna trade for him.
It's like the best compliment you ever could have given Domantas Sabonis, by the way. Fake star. He's like awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks.
So I think Ja is the guy. I think the Nets are gonna be like, we're trading for a star. The Knicks won the title. We got to do something crazy. We got to bring the flashiness to Brooklyn, and it's just gonna be the worst move that they've ever made.
Is KD like Wilt? Like, yeah, he played for Philly, he played for the Lakers, he played for Golden State. It's like he never really had a real team. Everyone kind of wanted him.
Yeah, but
by the time
he was a fake player, anyways.
Oh yeah, right. Kyle doesn't believe Wilt Chamberlain was real. He would 100
just like
Wilt.
Amelia Earhart.
Oh, okay. 989-837-6125. And Helen Keller, I would imagine, right? All right, we'll be right back.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9.
the Blazy Electric Studios. This is Sports Radio 100.9 The Mitt. WLUN, Pinconning Bay City, Saginaw, Midland.
All right, 2 champions crowned this weekend, one of them being the New York Knicks. I'm honestly shocked John has not just crashed this radio show.
Dude, where is he? I kind of want it to happen.
I have been thinking about all weekend what it's going to be like when he crashes the show. Do I get up and leave? I don't really want, I'll appreciate the Knicks for winning. I'll say nice things about them and honest things, but I don't want a Knicks party on the show. I don't want that to be what's happening. And when he shows up,
a Knicks party,
oh baby,
it will be a Knicks party. I will say this,
a solo party.
I will never if one of your close people in your life, their favorite team wins a championship, they deserve it. They deserve it all. It's a moment that not many people get to go through. I've never literally experienced that one time. You should never be the guy that's burning down the party of their celebration, especially the Knicks. What's your counter here? You're just being a bad guy then?
No, my counter is it's not even a counter.
You seem like you disagree.
I would never be the type of person to dump on someone and try to take away their happiness. I'm also not going to be happy for them. I'm going to be jealous. That's what I'm going to be. I'm going to be upset.
I'm going to be upset. It seems a little bit
You
of a stretch.
texted John this thing. It was like, yo, I'm so happy for you. Congratulations.
Okay,
and I was
whoa.
I was like,
let's not act like I said a one sentence thing that was like, congrats, John. This is a great moment.
Yeah, same thing.
No, not.
I can't get behind that. I think it's because I've never seen any of my teams win a title. Now, if I was a Boston sports fan and I got one of these every 3 years in whatever sport,
then it's not as special.
No. I was going to say, then I'm happy for someone else in my life who roots for another team. The fact that I've been so deprived of all of these championships, I'm not happy for anybody else. I want one of those. Every time somebody else wins one, it's me being cost. It's me not being able to celebrate one single. Do you know what John has? He has 2 Super Bowls that he got to witness. He has a Yankees title that he's seen. He's seen the Rangers go to the Stanley. He doesn't need a Knicks championship. None of the New Yorkers need another title. What about me? What about us? Well, we're the ones that need a title so desperately. It's been 18 years. I'm not happy for anybody else. I'm not going to be the person to dump on someone's parade. John came in here, I'm not going to start crapping.
You're right.
I'm not
saying
happy
this
for him.
By the time he was talking for at least 30 seconds, I would probably be okay. I think I probably would feel that way. So, yeah.
In terms of what you can take away from this Knicks team, which again, I'll appreciate how good of a bold, italicized, underlined team they were. I do not think they are as talented as a lot of the other teams that we've seen win a finals over the last couple of years, whether it's that 23 Celtics team, whether it's the 22 Warriors, whether it's the Denver Nuggets from 23. I think there's a handful of teams that would beat this Knicks team. But I don't know if anyone's ever overachieved the way that this Knicks team has because of the chemistry, because of the selflessness, because of the ability to just recognize we are all trying to achieve the same goal. There's no odd man out when it comes to what this team's mindset is. And for that reason, it is a very reminiscent of this 2004 Pistons team that beat the stars of L.A., Shaq and Kobe. And this New York team, because of the chemistry and playing together, beat the stars in San Antonio, the big bad Victor Wembanyama, and a guy who looks like young Kobe Bryant and Dylan Harper, who is their only source of offense down the stretch of Game 6.
Wait, so are you comparing that Spurs team to the Lakers team that three-peated, essentially?
Okay, but no, I'm not. In a way, I guess, sure. I think
because that team stunk in the finals.
They did, and the Spurs, in a way, stunk in the fourth quarter.
That's
of all
what I'm
these
talking
finals.
about. The Spurs stunk in that finals.
In which finals? This past
one.
finals?
This one they just played in.
They
that
were
team
great
was
in the
not
first
good,
three
man.
quarters.
That team was no good.
They were an elite first three quarters team.
That's a good point.
They were. Did you see the stat that they led for 72% of the series?
See, I saw like
unfathomable.
60-something, so I assume that stat's probably all over the place. But yeah, I mean the Knicks I think outscored them by like 10 points in the whole playoffs.
It's plus 12.
Yeah,
They're plus 12
in the series, and they won in 5.
It was the best 5-game series we've ever seen.
I feel like there's so much more we can dive into just with the finals in general. I know you want to make this about the Pistons, but it's just like
We do whatever we want.
What if OG doesn't tip that in? Do the Spurs win the series? Yet
No.
the Knicks 1-5.
I think what became pretty apparent in Game 5 is just the
What
Spurs
if Fox
had
doesn't
no
lay it up? You know what I'm saying? There's just so many different what ifs in this series that don't result in Knicks winning in 5.
I think the result ultimately was going to be the Knicks winning it, though.
Yeah.
Because of their identification as to who they were down the stretch of these games. I hate doing it, but I'll give the credit to Jalen Brunson because it's very well deserved. The belief in him from everybody else, and the we don't care how many points we're down in the fourth quarter. We genuinely will not go away. We believe we're still winning this game. A lot of it is because of Jalen Brunson, who scored 45 in an elimination game on the road. Only Michael Jordan's ever done that. He willed them to improbable wins time and time and time
Legit
again in
almost
the playoffs.
had 50. Yeah.
And when you do that over and over again, you just start to build a rational confidence in yourself as a team, and that's exactly what they did. They never wavered. Whereas you look at what happened to San Antonio, every single time the Knicks started coming back, that team just got more and more deer in the headlights, didn't know what to do on offense down the stretch of these games. Their defense was awesome throughout the course of all 5 of these games.
It was.
Their offense in the fourth quarter
Knicks,
of every single one of these games went ice cold because they were afraid to give the car keys to a rookie, which they should have done in the conference finals, let alone in the finals.
Even though he missed the layup that
was a tough layup.
He missed the layup, though.
It was an erratic shot more than it was a blown missed layup.
Sure.
They couldn't even get the ball to Wemby, and when they did, he I don't want to say too flimsy, but not sturdy enough to hold the ball the way that the officiating was letting them be physical with Wembanyama. They did not know who they were down the stretch of these games, where the Spurs, more than any team I've seen since maybe the 2004 Pistons, knew exactly who they were, even though they were the less talented team. They were the dogs coming into this one. I know the Warriors fit that bill, too, in terms of the team chemistry. They just had more talent than everybody as well.
The 15 Warriors kind of fit the bill. The first championship Warriors kind of fits that a little bit as well.
Yeah.
But yes, I agree.
I think the 04 team is a good comparison, though, because, 04
they don't
Pistons
have the
were
super
big
duper
dogs.
Star. Maybe Brunson is, but
he wasn't going into it.
Exactly.
And he wasn't. And if he played for anybody else besides the Knicks, he wouldn't be.
But he also scored 45 though. He averaged 30-some in the playoffs. It's ridiculous.
I guess the point I'm trying to make is, first of all, I think the Spurs are coming back with a horrifying attitude next year for the rest of the league.
Yeah.
Wemby's doing the beach drills at 5 a.m. this entire offseason. He's gaining 7-8 pounds of muscle, so you won't be able to knock him off his spot. The fouling before he even goes up for an alley-oop might result in a rules change. I think we might have our first case of, hey, this guy's so good that we're changing the rules. Because that was something the Knicks took advantage of. As anytime Wemby went up for those alley-oops, which is all the time, just grab him, and then it's not a shooting foul.
Right.
When it probably should be. I wouldn't be surprised
I don't think
if we
that
get
rule can get changed, though. Maybe it's an auto free throw or something. It's an intentional foul. I don't know how they would fix that.
I'm not sure either. But I think the Spurs are coming back with some pretty scary vengeance. Dylan Harper, I ran out of words for that. I think I compared him to Kobe Bryant after Game 3, and I think that basically sealed it from there. He looks like Kobe Bryant, and I'm not wavering from that. This Knicks team, though, the way that they were constructed, the way that they were built, their ability to overpay for Mikal Bridges with 4 first-round picks, which was laughed at the time and was laughed at up until this year when it felt like they really could win the title. When they paid OG Anunoby a 5-year deal before he had ever been an All-Star, he's still never been an All-Star, 5 years, $212 million.
Either, yeah.
It was an extreme over. They gave a guy a max contract who'd never been an All-Star. That was crazy, too. They were willing to overpay because they were investing in players they knew for a fact were good fits with their team. Not just good fits for their team, but good fits for any team. Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby aren't any players that, if they're in this, they work. Well, if they're in this, they work. The same way that Duran and Asar are if they're in this kind of system and these players are around them are good and play like this, they work. OG and Mikal, maybe not stars by any means, but they fit with literally any team that they could possibly be on in any era because they can play defense at a high level, shoot the ball from the outside, put the ball on the floor and attack closeouts. And that's all, at an extremely high level. So they were willing to overpay for those guys. So if you're the Pistons and you look at how the Knicks just got to the finals, I think there's a clear path for what you should be doing this offseason. And that is overpaying for one of those guys that you can identify whose ceiling has not necessarily been tapped into yet. And that, to me, is so obviously Trey Murphy. Shoots the ball lights out from the outside. One of those guys that you cannot leave open. I think he's a 38% shooter last year. Long wingspan, 7-footer, plays high-level defense, can attack the closeout well. Never will be like some 30-point, 20, even 25 points per game sort of scorer. But, man, like, can just get you some secondary buckets when Cade Cunningham is off the floor. You need guys like that. You need guys that fit with anybody. And that is exactly who OG Anunoby is. That is exactly who Trey Murphy is to me.
Yeah, and banking this off of like how the Knicks built their team, it does feel like the way that the Knicks did it does feel very New York and Knicks-esque, right? We're not going to keep any draft picks. We're just going for it. We need to be as aggressive as possible. Like, I do think there is a difference from not every team can do what they did, right? Based off of all the stuff that goes into being the New York Knicks and all of the failed, like, oh, free agent, we're just going to sign everybody in free agency. They had to do it this way, right? They had to go out and just make crazy trades to go get some guys that actually fit right, because the star hunting that New York had done for years and years just clearly wasn't working for them.
They had to build it themselves.
So that's
and
what,
they did
I think the scenario is different. I think the scenario is different, right, as far as like the Pistons doing it the Knicks way. But I'm with you 100% in the going and getting the guy that has an untapped ceiling in an OG Anunoby before he's reached it. But you're paying the price for him as if he's already there.
Correct. That's where the overpay aspect of it comes in.
Which I'm with you on that.
And you're right that this is always going to be different than what the Knicks built, because they signed Brunson in free agency.
Yeah.
The Pistons drafted their guy in Cade. They drafted Duren and Asar.
He could be the best guy to get signed in free. Like, now that they've won the title, think of any Finals MVP that was actually the best guy on the team, right? That they just got for free in free agency, not via the draft. They just don't really exist.
What do you mean got for, like?
They didn't have to trade anything for him.
KD?
They just got him on his team.
KD to the Warriors?
Sure.
But that was also like right when the salary cap was spiking because of
it was the new TV deal.
Yeah.
And they were already the best team ever.
Yeah.
Like they might have just won already, even without Kevin Durant.
I think what you're trying to say is Jalen Brunson might be one of the 5 best free agency
signings ever. Yes.
I don't think that's far-fetched.
It sounds ridiculous to say, but like, especially for the price that they got him at, and obviously he took a pay cut so that they could pay guys like OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges, and they asked him, was it worth it to win a finals? 100% it was. That was the whole goal this entire time. Like,
pretty sure Pablo Torre was still looking into that.
That's a good point. To think that this Knicks team literally lost 3 games the entire playoffs. 3 games.
I mean, it's unreal.
That's a dominant stretch. They lost 1 game post round 1. And CJ McCollum beat them twice, man.
Know.
That dude beat them twice. The champs.
And I told you after game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals, where they had that crazy 20-point comeback, something that became kind of their thing. It's like, yeah, I think they know the secret, the Isaiah Thomas secret, that it's not about basketball. It's about the selflessness. I know. They clearly figured it out before anybody else did this year, and that's why they won the championship. And I think the Pistons can learn a thing or two from that. 989-837-6125. Yiter Insurance, they give you our 11 o'clock hour. Life happens fast, and Yiter Insurance, they're here to make sure you're covered every step of the way. Locally owned and trusted in Midland for decades, they treat you like family, not just another policy number. From home and auto to business and life insurance, Yiter is the right coverage for every stage of life. Their team makes insurance simple with expert advice and real people you can actually talk to. That is Yiter Insurance Group. We'll be there when you need us since 1940. We are heading into summer months. Parents, athletes, whether you're in school leagues still, I think those are kind of wrapping up, rec leagues, or when fall starts to roll around. Because I know these days high schoolers are getting into fall sports like now, football camps like now. If you've got kids gearing up for sports, or you yourself are in a league this year, Great Lakes Spine and Medical has you covered with sports physicals. They make the process fast, easy, stress-free, no long waits, no bouncing all over town. Plus, you're not just checking a box. Their team actually looks at the overall movement, flexibility, and injury prevention to help athletes stay in shape all season long. Whether it's school sports, travel teams, or rec leagues, Great Lakes Spine and Medical is a great local option to get it done right and on time. Appointments are easy to schedule. Get those physicals done now and be ready for game day.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky. on 100.9 The Myth.
I got one more thing I want to ask you about the Knicks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I know. I just thought about it, and I meant to ask you it last segment, and I didn't.
I mean, we can just keep rolling with the finals if you want to. It's the day.
Dude, that's a good point, because this show is named after you, so you kind of are in full control, actually. That's a good point. Do you think this whole, the Knicks being the 8 team in 8 years thing, what's your take on this? Because I've seen this be a popular thing in NBA talks of, oh man, look at it's great for the league. Anybody can win it. 8 teams in 8 years. This is great for the league. And then I've seen the opinion that I lean towards saying this is actually not as good for the league as everyone thinks it is, as far as from a popularity standpoint and everything like that. Now the Knicks winning is good for the league no matter what. Whether they won 4 in a row, whether it was the first one they'd won in 50 years. It's good no matter what. The Knicks winning, as much as you can hate New York or whatever, it's good for the sport of basketball. The Knicks winning. 100% it is.
And I think it's good for the league that Wemby lost and now comes back with the chip on his shoulder.
Sure. And the fact that Wemby has been all of a sudden this new villain arc of Wemby.
I love it.
What the hell? Wembanyama going into the finals becoming a villain, I never would have guessed that in a million years. I thought he would have been the most A+ approval rating guy ever.
Nope.
And now just an entire fan base, a.k.a. the biggest fan base there is, all hates this guy. It's kind of awesome. But what do you think about the whole Perry
everyone
thing?
that he's a dirty player. I think it's good for the league in short term that everyone feels like they have a chance to win it on any given year, that you can go into the offseason, if you're the Pistons or whoever, thinking we've got a real chance to get to an NBA Finals. I think that in the short term is good for the league. But when you look back upon it, maybe it results in a forgettable era 20 years from now where it's like, oh yeah, then these guys won, and there's no dominant team the way that the Cavs and Warriors.
Most of NBA history is, right?
Yeah, the way it's the Cavs and Warriors, and then it was the Spurs who had a 15-year run where they were in the finals every couple of years. The Bulls in the 90s, the Lakers and the Celtics in the 80s. That leads to great documentaries, great stories, great memories, not all of them were dynasties, but
it's a league built off dynasties.
Very memorable players where players become legends. And I think it's a little bit harder for players to become legends in the sport. They become legends in their city, but legends in the sport, which I think 20, 30 years from now maybe is bad for the league. But in terms of the short term, I do like that everyone has feels like they go into the offseason in the year with a chance to win it. I think that's good.
That is good, and it's good for a team like the Pistons as well.
Correct.
And I've just always been under the impression, and this goes for any sport, not just the NBA, but the NBA is very hyper-specific because it feels like the ring culture in the NBA is heightened in any sport. It's probably just because there's less people involved. The individualization of basketball is just at a heightened level than any other sport as well, maybe other than quarterbacks in the NFL.
Even more so, I think.
Yeah, I think so
still
too.
Need a good
and
defense.
so and we've just been built off of a entire history of basketball where the big market teams are going to be dynasties.
And the best players
play
finals.
for those teams. Yeah, exactly. We went from LeBron being in the finals 8 years in a row to 8 different champions in a row. It's unbelievable to think about. And it's weird to think that was that long ago because the day one that LeBron didn't make the finals, year one of the Lakers, I was like, what's going on? I don't this is not real.
Yeah.
It's not the NBA Finals. It doesn't have LeBron in it. And then we've gone that many years with being a new team every year, and it's odd. I've always been under the impression, it's the reason why I will continue to harp and say the Dodgers are great for baseball. It is a good thing when there is a common enemy in sports. When there is a dynasty team, they always get to a point where the consensus public of that sport hates them.
Yeah, and
the
you
Kansas
have to
City Chiefs.
Them.
The Los Angeles Lakers for the longest time, the Boston Celtics, you talk about all of those guys. The Warriors. Man, the Warriors were the funnest team you could ever watch play basketball, and everybody hated them because of how good they were.
Well, and because they got KD.
But they were so fun. Just from a pure basketball standpoint, that's the most fun team to watch ever. And yet everybody hated them because of how dominant they were. So, it had to come to an end.
Do we just look back at that era as everyone hated both of the teams, the Warriors and the Cavs? Because I do feel like by the fourth year, everyone did get sick of it by the fourth year in a row.
Sure.
And now looking back, it's like, man, we didn't appreciate what we had.
Exactly. That was the start of it, right? Adam Silver gets really into the mix finally of being starting to be in control post David Stern era of the NBA, and he wanted to push for parity. And a part of that was because the Warriors and the Cavs played 4 years in a row in the finals, and that had to come to an end. And I agree. I think it got to a point where we're like, okay, like,
what's the point of the regular season or the playoffs if we know who's coming out?
Just going to be these two teams again. Like, what the hell's going on? Kevin Durant joined the Warriors. Okay, something needs to stop here. So I think I honestly prefer the era when there is a big bad dog team. I think I do. And
I think we're about to get it with the Spurs.
But, like, they haven't even won one yet.
I know.
They got to win one. I thought OKC was going to be that team, and they didn't even make the finals this year.
Well, now we have two teams like that out west, fortunately, and one of them has a title. I think there's two teams that are going to be here for a long time and, like, be good for a long time. You know?
Yeah, I think so too. And as much as, like, we've been talking up the Knicks, I don't think we're worried about them becoming a dynasty, right?
No.
Even though they just had one of the more,
year.
they'll be. I mean, yeah, they're definitely going to be a title contender again, but they certainly won't be. We're talking about them to be the next Golden State Warriors.
Yeah, we're not doing the conversation on Monday. How many are they going to win?
Yeah,
we're like we do with a lot of the young teams that win it for the first time.
It's very similar to like if we're talking to a casual audience, it's a lot easier for a casual NBA fan to be like, oh, the Warriors, yeah, what they've won the last 4 championships, yeah, somebody's got to beat them. We got to root against the Warriors.
Yeah.
Whereas like, hey, who won the last 4 NBA titles? Casual NBA fan. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just, it's an odd time for the sport.
And it also, like, when there is the big bad wolves, it makes titles like the 04 team where it feels like you stole one even more meaningful.
100%.
In the bad boys, I don't even know
Mavs.
how to categorize it because, yeah, the Mavs are another great example. The bad boys are a hard one to categorize because it's like they did win 2 in a row, and it was like right between 2 more dominant runs with the Celtics, Lakers, 80s, and then the 90s Bulls. And it's not like the Pistons were like had this long dominant run. It was just like, bam, here's 3 years where they kind of rocked.
Yeah, I mean, they went to
the finals 3 years in a row.
And they went to 6 straight Eastern Conference finals. Like,
yeah.
It's just how the league used to go. These teams were just great for a long time, and now
you finally steal one.
Exactly. And you get that's why they're nowadays in the NBA, the second you don't win one, it's like trade everybody on the team. We got to like completely revamp the squad. Whereas when the Pistons would do it, hey, we know we're going to be back next year. You just got to be able to get, like that's how it was in that version of the NBA.
Teams stayed together.
And now it's different because every single year, each team can talk themselves into potentially going on a run and winning it. And I think that's a great point you bring up about the stealing one thing. In an era of dominant teams, in an era of dynasties, which has been basically the entire NBA, if you snuck out a championship, it felt more valid. And I don't want to say the ones that are being won now aren't valid. Of course they are.
Nobody's stealing anything anymore.
You're not stealing anything. You're not getting one out in the X era. You're just winning a title. Giannis, Jokic, here's a title. Jaylen Brown, Tatum, Brunson.
You kind of blend in now.
Shea, all you guys can get a title. Like it always felt like it was such a huge deal for a superstar player to win one. And in this era, not saying it's not a big deal, of course it is. It just feels less like a big deal.
Yeah. And it's become quite literally impossible to stack rings. Impossible.
Yeah.
The last star player to win multiple rings is still LeBron and KD and Steph.
100%. It's
LeBron and Steph.
It's just a better talking point when teams like go back to the finals or win back-to-back. Like,
of course it is.
I'm the biggest casual hockey fan there is, man. When it was McDavid back-to-back in the Stanley Cup Finals, lost twice. That was like, I was so invested in that. I'm not going to lie. I wasn't like crazy invested in this Stanley Cup Finals.
Correct.
I'm a very, very casual hockey fan.
I think it's good for the individual franchises that there's a lot of parity, especially the small market teams and teams like the Knicks, who it's like, hey, we don't really have a franchise player right now, but 3 years from now,
exactly,
we didn't even draft one, and we still managed a way to do it. A team like, I guess Denver had their franchise player, but like, you know what I mean? Like, in terms of the individual franchises, every team goes into the year, or maybe 2 or 3 teams feel like they can legitimately squeak out of either conference. But in terms of how we look back upon this era, I don't think it'll be like one of the more memorable eras of the NBA. They're not going to be documentaries about,
I don't think so at all.
Oh, the 20s were crazy.
Look at the 20s. The Phoenix Suns made the finals.
Yeah, no. Everybody
Devin
made
Booker
the finals.
was in the, everybody made the finals, man. I just got it brought back to my attention. I completely forgot Luka drugged the Mavericks to the finals.
Yeah.
That team
dragged.
was in the finals. Yeah, whatever. Like,
Miami's been there twice.
Miami's actually the biggest loser of the finals is probably either Dallas or Miami.
Oh, it's
probably,
for sure Miami.
Probably Miami because all of these East teams that have been good for the last 5 to 7 years, they all have a ring now.
Yeah, everyone talks about how great the West is, and the East just like kind of routinely gets there and like throws really good punches and wins titles.
The Knicks and Boston winning. I mean, Philly didn't win one either, so I guess they fit in this as well. But Miami made it twice. They just so happened to go up against LeBron and Jokic, so that's pretty tough. Yeah.
989-837-6125. This is the Ben Bosscher Show live here on 100.9 The Mitt. At Scott Family Dental, you're more than just an appointment on their schedule. You're treated like family from the moment you walk in. Dr. Brandon Scott and his team creating experience that's welcoming, relaxed, and actually enjoyable, making every visit feel less like a dentist and not like catching up with friends at a Scott Family Dental in Midland. We'll hit the news when we come back.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding. Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid.
All right, Kyle. Take over here. It is the Mid-Morning Catch, round 2.
The Mitts Morning Catch.
All right, we have yet to do it. We got to talk about the crazy night in the UFC that we had last night. First, though, we do have to look at the Covenant Healthcare injury report for the Tigers. We got more bad injury news, even though we had a lot of good injury news going into the weekend. Jack Flaherty has been placed on the 15-day injured list with a ankle strain type of injury, a ligament on the outside of his ankle. Had a little bit of discomfort, slipped off of the mound. It's not the end of the world because it potentially can help solve their question mark of like, hey, who should be in the rotation?
Sure.
But anytime a guy gets hurt, it's not a good thing.
I think that's one way to look at it. Like, oh, it helps them naturally let things play out. It's also like, it's just them being forced to not make a decision, which they're probably so happy about, when I really wanted some pressure to be on to see what sort of decision would have been made with Mize and Verlander allegedly coming back this week. Like, I almost feel like they got a little bit of a cop-out of, well, now we don't have to make a decision and hurt anybody's feelings.
Yeah.
When I was, in a way, looking forward to seeing what they were going to do.
I bet they're not happy about it, though. You know, like, they're probably not like, oh, phew, now we don't have to make a decision. You know, like, I mean, Flaherty getting injured.
I mean, they might be saying that under their breath.
Doesn't help anything, so. Okay, here we go. Let's talk about it. The UFC Freedom 250 last night in the White House lawn. Dana White afterwards says, it was a success, but they will never do it again. This was just an unbelievable event. It was one of those things that I didn't really process actually was going to happen until it actually like was currently happening. I was like,
I thought I was dreaming. What was happening? This was insane.
It felt just fake. It felt like the weird. It was just weird. I don't even know how. Like I can't describe it. You and I were watching it together, and I didn't know what to say.
It felt like a TV show. They kicked off.
Real.
It was a 1 hour delay, and then they kicked off the show, and it's just like, yeah, here's Dana White and Trump walking through the entire White House to come sit ringside. It's like, what am I watching? What is this? This is maddening.
Yeah, and every fight
knockout
was I don't want to say lived up because there were some bad fights as far as like guys just killing the other guy. But knockout or TKO in every single fight. Pretty unbelievable that it ended up working out that way. A lot of them happened in round 1, too, which was nice for the time because this thing went on crazy late for a Sunday night.
We only saw round 3 once, and that was in the main event.
And it was at the end of the night, exactly. And those are the big storylines coming out of this. First off, Alex Pereira does not become the first 3-time belt champion, essentially, in 3 different weight classes.
Looked a little out of place.
He did. Cyril Gahn, really, like, shout out to him. I was rooting for Pereira. You were. I think most everyone was. He's a fan favorite, and it didn't matter because Gahn was tremendous. Just dominated that fight completely. The big storyline, though, of course, is that Ilia Topuria finally lost, and it came to the American in the White House lawn, Justin Gaethje, who is now having an unbelievable 2026. 2 major upset victories for him that have gotten him to this point of finally being the champion. Unbelievable performance from him.
I mean, we thought Topuria was untouchable. The way that he had been fighting as of late, he had knockouts to Holloway, knockouts to Oliveira, two like pristine champions that we've had in lightweight. Is it lightweight? Yeah, they're lightweight guys. So he's been on this crazy run where it's like 13-0. He looks untouchable. And then all of a sudden, Gaethje gets him in the first round, and he cuts him open below the right eye. And it's like, wait a minute, he's already drawn blood. And then in the second round, he like basically shuts Toporia's other eye with how swollen it was, broken orbital bone. So now you're going into round 3. One of his eyes is basically shut, and the other one's just gashing, like bleeding at a crazy rate. And they get through the end of round 3, and it's like, Topuria is going to die if they let him go out there again. He's going to punch a hole through his skull. His skull is going to crack into a million pieces. And
then they did. And then they let him back out.
And then they let him back out there. After, I don't know what happened, because the doctor came in and did the eye thing and was like, no fight. And then they basically sat there and then were like, please, can we fight?
Yeah.
And then they just ended up fighting. My guess is like either Dana White or Trump was like, we're not ending the fight right now.
Yeah.
There's just no way we're just ending the main event of the White House card right now with the doctor stoppage. So they let him roll back out there one more round, and he continued to get his ass beat. And then after that, that's when Topuria, I think, was the one who was like, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
I'm going to die if I go back out there. And I don't even say that to be hyperbolic.
Yeah,
he was like on the verge of death.
I'm very surprised that round 4 even begun. And obviously it did not last very long. So just a crazy event. 80,000 people out there, watching from the fan spot or whatever that they had off to the side. One of the weirdest things that's ever happened. Like, I think weird is probably just the best way to describe it, because it was weird. I
still don't
can't
really
believe it.
fully comprehend what just happened.
And Dana is correct when he says that should never happen again, because
no, the 1 hour weather delay made it on until near 1 in the morning.
Gaethje starting his walkout in the Oval Office.
Yeah, man. Like,
and then winning on top of it, like Gaethje beating Patty earlier this year and then winning this. He's on an all-time run right now for a guy pretty late into his career as well. So it's a guy you can root for.
I felt like we were watching Game of Thrones, or like it was some medieval times where, like, yes, come to my castle where the leader of this country is just going to be entertained by these two people killing each other, as if it was a joust and they were on horses competing to be knights, like watching a tournament. This was crazy. It was maddening what we were watching. Entertain me. Beat each other senseless.
It did feel that way. God, that's crazy. Okay, we'll do just a couple more things here in the news, and then we'll. Do you have anything else actually on that? Quite the shame.
Next UFC card is Conor McGregor, man. Great summer for UFC.
Max Holloway, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Quite a shame that Derek Lewis lost to that bozo.
Oh yeah, out on that guy, man. That guy.
Who is that guy?
A loser.
We need
total loser.
We need Alex Pereira to fight that guy.
That guy should be stripped of of being able to come out to Hulk Hogan's music, although also not necessarily a great guy.
The live music aspect of it was awesome, by the way, with the service men and women that were performing all of that. That was a really cool part of that event.
It's not often that the UFC they never try to censor anyone. You're allowed to say literally whatever you want. And even Joe Rogan, after the post-gamer with that clown, was like, give me the mic, dude. Stop talking. You're not doing yourself any favors right now.
So hopefully they let Pereira beat that guy up, because that was a shame. A couple more things here in the news. Did you see over the weekend, Friday night, Jacob Mizorowski threw maybe the best pitching performance we've ever seen? Obviously, that's being hyperbolic, but he throws a one-hit Maddox with 15 Ks. I mean...
What was that?
He goes under 100 pitches, complete game shutout, with 15 strikeouts, and then on top of it, he also threw a 104.5 mile per hour fastball, which is the hardest thrown fastball by a starting pitcher ever.
What? No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Didn't JB hit 105? JV never hit 105?
105? No.
You said it was 104?
104.5.
What did JV ever hit?
I mean, Justin Verlander surely never threw 105 miles per hour. I mean, the record was 105 something, close to 106 from Chapman. For
Verlander's 103.2 in a playoff game.
That is pretty crazy. Yeah, so just an unbelievable performance from Mizorowski right now to win the National League Cy Young. He has become the favorite after that outing at minus 130. Christopher Sanchez plus 220 right now. So those guys are your leaders. Tigers, they're back in action tonight against the Houston Astros at 8:10. Troy Melton on the mound.
There you go. Hey, as temperatures rise across Michigan, termite season is officially underway, and many homeowners don't realize there's a problem until the damage is already done. At Four Seasons Exterminating, we offer professional termite inspection and treatment to help protect your home before major damage happens, along with pest control, lawn care, mosquito treatment, bed bug services, and more. Call Four Seasons Exterminating today or visit the website to schedule your inspection.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100. by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Myth.
All right, we have 3 traditions to close out each and every show. The first tradition we have is our Lock of the Day.
Lock of the Day.
You better lock it up. No, you lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up.
So on Friday, we took Pereira's money line. And I think by the time the fight started, watching all the intros and watching all it just kind of became evident that there was no real reason to back Pereira unless you just thought he was destined to become an all-time great in that moment. And I fell into that camp. I thought he was going to become, potentially the GOAT by winning that fight. Logic told you to not pick him. He was way up in weight, gained 80 pounds, going up against a guy who's just naturally a lot bigger than him.
Had never fought at that weight.
Yeah, and was going up against one of the premier guys. Yeah, I can't say I'm proud of that one.
I was pretty sad when that happened, though. I think we both were. It was it really drained the energy of Pereira lost.
Yeah. So we didn't win. Back to the well on good old faithful, though. Riley Green, 2 RBI hits, runs, going up against, is it Kai Wei Tang?
I believe so.
Kai Wei Tang tonight. They've never gone toe-to-toe. Riley Green's never seen him, but Kai Wei Tang has been pieced up by lefties this season. 5 home runs in 23 innings pitched. So I'm going to go with Riley Green to hit 2 RBIs or hits or runs, any combination of those to add up to 2. Home run gets it done. An RBI single gets it done. Really anything. We're 3-0 in this bet?
Yeah, 3-0 doing this, and every time you've done it, he has hit a home run in the game. So I think at some point you don't want to abuse it because right now it's really working out for Riley Green every time you do this. But I have to tail it until it doesn't hit, so I'm going to rock with the tail.
Oh, your Taylor fade streak's done, isn't it?
I know I tailed the Pereira thing. Yeah, I went 11 days in a row of hitting Taylor fade.
It's pretty good, man.
That's never going to get to. That's what the Tigers got to do. They're going to win 11 straight games, and then I'll finally be like, you know what? They're back. You are 1.57 units up, though, in the month of June. You won last week, so you're 11-12 through the first 23 weeks of 2026.
You'd really think you'd be less than 9 units down.
Your all-time score of 11.6 units down all-time does not correlate that, but you've had some really bad weeks. That's why that number's where it's at.
Yeah, and the plus 110 or the minus 110 bets end up costing
At some point, they add up, yeah.
That's why they say Vegas always wins. All right, that is our Lock of the Day.
Lock of the Day.
You better lock it up. No, you lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up.
Next thing we have is our Game of the Day.
Game of the day.
Oh, boy,
You're in a tough spot. This is, I was going to say this with the Lock of the Day, too. Now that the NBA and NHL are over, this is where everything really gets tested, and the Game of the Day gets tested.
Got the Fever playing tonight. The W.
Man, you sound so excited.
I'm just trying to find good pitching. I mean, Wheeler's on the mound tonight, but it's against Miami. I just don't think it can be.
And you've got Dodgers, Rays,
two
40-plus win
first-place teams,
yeah.
right?
Well, the Yankees are in first place right now.
Oh, they swapped again?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I'll just go with the 10 o'clock ESPN game of Dodgers in Tampa. That's the best thing we have on today. You know the best thing on today, other than the Tigers game? Dave Chappelle down in Detroit. Can't wait. Making the drive. Yeah, that's going to do it. That's our game of the day.
Game of the day.
Okay.
I got 2 words for you.
Yep.
Steve Nash and Chris Paul. Must-see TV.
Gotcha. What do we think Colin Cowherd's going to open with? We basically took three game days in a row off from doing that. Tell me what the score is, because I have no idea.
Yeah, I didn't really do too much research into this. I just took what the score was on Wednesday because we kind of just scrapped it up in the back half of last week. 60-59. I remain up by 1 point in guessing Colin's open.
So whose turn is it to go first?
It is your turn to go first today, though. It is episode 259.
The Knicks are NBA champions. That is what I predict.
Yeah. You know that bucket that Brunson had on Wemby when he drove on him and then pumped and then did the little scoop up with the right? What an unbelievable bucket. I can't stop thinking about it.
Not the one from the Game 5? Like way earlier in the series?
No, Game 5.
What?
Game 5 was, we just saw Game 5.
In which one were you talking about?
What are you talking about?
I don't know.
The one that just happened in Game 5, correct.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I think we're talking about the same thing now.
But wait, you said the one happened in Game 5 way earlier in the series? I don't know what you mean. I think there's a world where he talks about this UFC thing, but not coming off of an NBA Finals. Like, there's just no chance. I think it's going to be a Wemby lost the Finals, and the Spurs were too young, and this is just how LeBron did it type of thing. So it's going to be, the Knicks won, but Wemby, we were compared him to Jordan too quick. That's going to be kind of the thing I'll go with.
Makes sense to me. All right, appreciate everybody for listening today. We'll be back tomorrow, 9 a.m. Like and subscribe on YouTube if you haven't already. Follow us on Facebook to stay up to date on all the latest news, stories, information, graphics. You got it. Instagram, TikTok, that's where our exclusive video content is. We will see you tomorrow.
The Ben Bosscher